And welcome back to Formula Student 2026 live from Silverstone for the second session of endurance. Out on track already, plenty of cars queuing up to take on one of the hardest challenges in the Formula Student calendar. We've got 13 laps per driver, 2 different drivers, a driver change between them, 26 laps in total, separating these teams from Formula Student Glory. I'll talk you through who is in the queue and who will be first up in this second session. We've got University of Lancashire, University of the West of England, University of Warwick, Staffordshire University, Technical University of Denmark, Vermilion, University of Birmingham, University of Malta, University of the Basque Country, Bizkaia, Edith Cowan University, and of course Modena competing in this session. And you can see right the way through from University of Lancashire all the way to Vermilion on your screens right now. Now earlier on this afternoon, whilst we were having our lunch, Jess and I went on a pit walk, and there are plenty of other teams in the queue, Jess.
Yes, including 3 teams that we didn't see this morning that were meant to be in the first session, but they are going to get out of order penalty, but they're still allowed to run in session 3 because they didn't even start endurance. So the ones in the queue that we saw that were meant to run in the first session, now they're going to be running in session 3. Where Southampton, they're first in the queue. We've got Cambridge, and most importantly, BCU. Whatever issue that they have got, they managed to have fixed. Those are the 3 teams we're going to see this afternoon. But there were plenty of other teams that we saw on our pit wall that have passed scrutineering this morning. 2 of them we're really excited to see. Another Scottish team, University of Strathclyde, they're in the queue as well, which is very, very exciting. And the one that I'm very particularly excited to see is Nottingham, because they've gone through quite a few stages over the last few years. Fully passed scrutiny this morning. I was chatting to one of the drivers in the pit wall as he was getting prepped to get in the car very soon for session 3 later on, and he said Nottingham's goal just to finish.
Completely understandable, because after all, in session 3 you do also get points for endurance. Remember, there was 250 points up for grabs on endurance alone, not to mention the additional points you get for your efficiency score thereafter. I've had word whilst walking up and down the pits that Glasgow Caledonian have passed post-scrut, so they are guaranteed finishes, official finishes. The time that we had without cones added here in the commentary box was 40.13.96, the only time we've had on the board so far to complete endurance. It was a graveyard out there in session 1, and other teams that I caught my eye whilst we were walking up and down, Swansea are in the queue, hoping to have a go of it as well, and Birmingham City University have manufactured themselves the part that they were missing in the garage. I love that, a proper DIY job. Respect to all the team for coming together with that one, and hopefully we'll be able to see them. I had word from the Dynamics volunteers that I think they're hoping that they might be able to get more than 5 teams through in session 3, but it will depend on how many teams complete endurance in this second session. It takes place between 1 o'clock and 2:30. I would also like to say, Glasgow Caledonian, wherever you are,
get in the hot seat.
Absolutely, Jess. Glasgow Caledonian to the hot seat, please.
Because you've done your post scrutineering. We want obviously, if you're not busy packing up, of course, get the entire most of your team in that hot seat, please, because it's going to be yours for quite a bit, and make the most of it. So if you're Glasgow Caledonia in the paddock, make your way over to Cox Corner, Cox Bank. The hot seat is there.
It is indeed. Now, bear in mind, we've had some updates from the Dynamics team as to the location of what happened to certain drivers earlier on. So, you'd have noticed that myself and Jess were particularly confused about Leeds, weren't we? So
yes.
Leeds were doing very well, and they suddenly got meatball flagged. We weren't quite sure why. I've been sent a photograph and an explanation by one of the Dynamics volunteers. Leeds exhaust exploded and set fire to the part of the wiring harness.
Which meant their stickers got removed.
Precisely. So that was then, there's a significant hole, in fact a gaping hole in the side of their exhaust manifold, and that was all over them. 4 Leeds set fire to part of the wiring harness as well. Meanwhile, talking of electrical failings, sadly the battery connectors on Oxford Brook's car welded themselves together, according to the volunteers, and that resulted in an electrical failure. Will University of Lancashire have better luck? They're on the line now then, as we're about to get underway for the second session of endurance here at Formula Student 2026. Car 46 on the line, University of Lancashire. What can we expect here, Jess? Do you reckon we're going to get to see another team finish?
I think they were very good, weren't they? They were struggling a bit in acceleration to get the car started, but in sprint, they were. I was feeling a lot hopeful for them. They set a good lap time, which put them in the top 10. So, touch wood, crossing my fingers, we could see that team get through. But they got to make it through 26 laps, full of action. You can see the car revving, and they're underway. The second session is a go, and they're going a bit slowly. We might have spoken too soon.
It was a bit of a hop off the line, bounced off the revs, and it took a little while for them to get going, and the pace isn't what we're used to from the University of Lancashire. Having said that,
Could there be a new driver?
it could well be a new driver indeed getting to grips with the car and the track combination, and additionally, mechanical sympathy may be at play here, because remember, the further they go in endurance, the more points they're likely to get. So fingers crossed for them from the University of Lancashire. Still to come, of course, UE, Warwick, Vermilion, Staffordshire, all waiting in the wings. Cambridge have also made a reappearance. They will have to run out of order, but they are waiting to have a go of it. They had some minor issues earlier on, which meant they couldn't run in their allotted slot. You can tell that the Cambridge team at the media trained. I asked them what exact problems they were. They said just a minor few things. They're not willing to divulge any further.
Yeah, I think there's certain teams that want to keep things tight-lipped until they actually have successful things happening in endurance, because we tend to jinx things in the commentary box, and sometimes it does not go well, which almost happened to Glasgow Caledonian earlier.
I still haven't quite worked out, Jess. I don't know whether you heard as to why they stopped on the hairpin a few laps before the end. That put the hearts and the mouths up and down Scotland and here at Silverstone as well.
I was tempted to go into their garages and find out, but they were literally in post-scrutineering, so we couldn't see them.
Coming through the Mansell Meander now, I went for a ride earlier on with Monty and David in the Micra around this track, and it does throw you around, and it's great fun to drive. Coming across the line there for their first time, that is Central Lancashire with a 1:48.42, 1 lap complete, second in progress, Jess. Do you reckon we're going to see a faster result as they increase the time out on track?
I think they're starting to increase their speed just a little bit. We saw that with Cambridge yesterday, didn't we? Where in the first few sprint laps they were a lot slower. I think we're seeing the same with Lancashire at the moment. You can see on FS Stats which driver it is. It doesn't say the name, it says like driver A, B or C as well. We will be keeping an eye on most entertaining driver. So we got some information on who's going to be driving for Edith Cowan. So first driver is Sebastian, will be the team leader. They won the most impressive driver award last year from the Dynamics Marshals, and Kian Butler will be driving the second stint. Look, that will be to come later. They're going to be second last in session 2.
Yeah, keep an eye on that. It's going to be very, very close between those top three. The top 3 teams here at Formula Student, all previous champions, never have been competing against each other at Silverstone, and certainly have never been on track at the same time. That's exactly what we can expect from Vizcaya, ECU and Modena. So do stay with us. It's going to be very, very exciting indeed. We also do need to say thank you to ECU, who have gifted myself and Jess a rather large box of Tin Tams.
Yeah, they did it a couple of years ago when they were last competing in 2024. We do appreciate it. We really do. So thank you so much. I'm definitely going to make the most of it. So through this next section, we'll see if they can go faster than 1:48.42. So up to the line. It's not updating on that time. Oh yeah, 1:40.35. They've gone quicker.
Just the driver getting bedded in then, by the looks of things, for the University of Lancashire as they head through the bus stop. Now, you do really have to jam on the brakes there. And here's another section. This chicane here is absolutely brutal. You can really feel it pulling in. And then, of course, as you accelerate away, there's a bend to the right, and you really do want to put your foot down. But you've got to remember, you're approaching Brutus Maximus, and you can feel it, the G pushing you into your seat as you break through that one. It's got a wide exit, so you could get the tail out should you so wish. Coming through the slalom with no problems then are the University of Lancashire. UE will be next out on track, and hopefully we'll be able to get a word from Lee Traherne from them later on in their session. Right now though, on track and on your screens is the University of Lancashire as they head through this brutal chicane. I love these chicanes here because this is really testing the car's handling. You can see how planted the cars are, where they roll, where they dive, excellent stuff. an opportunity to check out how the car has been set up as they come through the faster section of the course and in through that second slalom and on to the Welsh Wiggle prior to this hairpin, which has seen so many teams come to a halt, Jess. I'm not sure what it is about this corner that's causing so many teams problems, because it's a fairly simple hairpin.
And don't forget, it was the other hairpin as well in the first half of the lap where we saw a few people going to a halt as well. So it might just be the hard braking zones that we're seeing from the cars, which is why they were seen to be struggling. But Central Lancashire have done their third lap then. They've gone considerably quicker again. So the driver embedded in is a 1:34.29, and you could tell they're going faster and faster, aren't they?
Well, that's already the fourth, currently, according to our timing screens here in the commentary box, that's already the fourth longest distance covered by a team here for Endurance, which just goes to show how brutal that first session was, Jess.
Yeah, I was a bit disappointed, of course. For those of you that weren't here in the first session, we'll give you a little bit of a recap whilst we got Lancashire on circuit. Of course, we've had a few DNFs: Aberdeen, Leeds, Oxford Brookes, Surrey, Sheffield Hallam and Oxford. They made it onto the track. They did some laps. Unfortunately, all their cars grinded to a halt, and they couldn't get the car restarted in time. Meanwhile, the second car in this session is going to start Endurance, and that is car 121, the University of the West of England, UE.
Well, this is going to be quite interesting because University of Lancashire are lapping at a fairly conservative pace, possibly preserving performance in the car and letting the driver get used to the car and the circuit. Bear in mind those times have been tumbling for Lancashire, but we know that UE are a damn sight quicker. Having said that, they seem to be taking a similar approach and bedding in on this first lap, taking it gently as the driver gets used to the course and the car. How's my driving, says the rear wing. And if I look into my notes momentarily, I'll actually be able to bring you the phone number that you can call to leave them a voice message or a text. It's all fun and games. They've got a Nokia brick connected to the phone number on the back of their rear wing there. 0777 5109 545. I'll say it again for you. 0777 5109 545.
And if you're international, put the +44. And I do believe, Giles, we're someone that we wanted in the comms box. Should we bring him in?
Absolutely. Here we go then. Lee, so what's the approach being taken here with this opening lap from UE? I was expecting a little bit more pace, I won't lie.
Hello, and thank you very much. It's a nice little box, this, lovely. So at the moment, the drivers are just taking it steady at the moment. We had a few little gremlins yesterday. We had a bit of a misfire on the engine, so I think he's just finding his feet a little bit. We made an adjustment to the suspension as well yesterday. The car was ground out slightly, so we adjusted some of the rocker ratio stuff yesterday to make sure that this car performs okay and doesn't sort of give us any grief. But yeah, they got a target time, and that target time is about 1:10 per lap.
Let's have a look on the timing screen. It's currently the first lap, 1:31.57.
Yeah, so let's hope it jumps up from that. It should do. So I think the team are on the banking, basically telling them to go faster or slower. So we'll go from there.
Away goes Central Lancashire then, having completed another of their laps, and that is a 1:26.41, their fastest lap then. 5 laps completed, 6th in progress for the University of Lancashire. UE out on track for their second lap. Now, who's driving at the moment, and who have we got to look forward to for the second stint, Lee?
So I think Willem is driving at the moment. In testing, he proved to be a very, very reliable driver. He was very calm and collective and quite consistent with his time. So I expect him to be more cautious at the moment, I think, than the second driver. So George is in on the second stint. George is probably a little bit more hairy than Willem, but both equally tidy drivers. So let's hope Willem sort of picks up the pace a bit by now, because car sounds okay. It seems to be going okay.
Lap time is dropping by 10 seconds, so they should be on
go.
the pace
So
fairly soon.
yeah, he should pick up slightly.
1:23 there.
So hopefully the team can tell them to go a bit quicker. So UE team on the banking, could you tell them to go a bit quicker? Thank you very much.
UE then lapping with a 1:23.61, their fastest, 2 laps down, 3rd in progress. Central Lancashire, 6th in progress, their fastest and their latest, a 1:26.41. Central Lancashire now have covered the second farthest distance of any team as they cross the line to complete their second lap, their 6th lap, and that is a 1:23.67. Again, their fastest. They really are bedding in, and I imagine UE are doing much the same.
Yeah, so again, it's nice to see that the Surrey car is doing really well outside here. It's unfortunate to see like a lot of cars not making it around consistently this morning. So we're just hoping, well, we are like fingers crossed hoping that this car goes to the finish.
I think the team are actually quite surprised by how well they've been doing, from what I can gather from them.
Yeah, again, it's been a bit of a late build, so we were just unsure of the package. So it was tested a couple of times, and we had a few little worries in camp, obviously making sure that the car is legal. But obviously it passed straight away, which is really, really good.
Yeah, it did, which is great to see. They've just completed another lap, have Yui. That's the third down, fourth in progress, at 114.78. So hitting that 110 target, as you were just saying there, Lee. Seventh in progress for Central Lancashire. Warwick out on track. Warwick have hit on the timing board. I think Warwick must be coming up soon.
Yeah,
Central Lancashire, 123.67, their latest. Seventh in progress right now. And coming across the line, in fact, are Lancashire. And over the line they come with a time of 1:24.04, 7 laps completed, 8th in progress.
Yeah, it's good, it's improving, isn't it? That's the main thing.
Absolutely. Yui, meanwhile, they've clocked in 3 laps so far. Their fourth is about to come to a close, and the time will be up on the board as they come through the final laps. Warwick head out on track with their first run. A very, very tidy car. I really do love the concept of that Warwick car. It's nice and simple, elegant, and quick, which is everything you need a Formula Student car to be. As Yui come across the line to complete their fourth lap with a 112.13. It's exactly as you were saying.
Bang on. That's all he's got to do, hopefully. And they've worked out the points total from this. So they're aiming for a certain points total, which is hopefully going to give them that top 10 finish. And I think that's all they're hoping for at the moment, you know. I think the clutch is slipping slightly as well, so they're not confident to push it that hard. But fundamentally, it should get to the end. It's not overheating, it doesn't do anything wrong, so it should get to the end.
I think it is cooler today than it was yesterday, so.
Yes, absolutely. But this Warwick car, as you were saying, it's a nice development from the previous cars we've seen.
Absolutely, as it comes through the final throws of its first lap, Warwick coming through. No. Oh, hang on a minute. Lancashire, that's the first overtake we've had in endurance, and there it is, nicely done from both teams there. Lancashire back underway, hopefully, as away go Warwick across the line with a time of 146.23, and that is Lancashire back underway as across the line they come. That will be a slightly slower lap as a result of the blue flag. They pulled into the overtaking bay and got going once more. 135.89 for Lancashire, 8 laps completed, 9th in progress. Meanwhile, Yui are still out there, of course. They are coming across the line, and their time is going to be a 1:25.29, 5 laps down. 6th in progress for driver number 1. Jess has been having a conversation with GCU. Jess, what have you got for us?
Well, good news. They're on their way to the hot seat, so that is good news. There were a few. They weren't even sure at one point as to why they stopped. They only realised they stopped once the car got going again, which was quite funny. But it looked like for them, the BSPD got trapped.
Oh.
That's what happened. But they just passed post scoop. They're having a little bit of a break now. All their team are now in the hot seat. So for their sake, they're going to hope they stay there. But a position they're not expected to be in. Well done, guys, and Caledonia. Really, really lovely people, and it was lovely to speak to them.
Oh, fantastic stuff. Big up to Robbie and all the team from GCU, currently in the hot seat with a 40.13.96. The only team so far to have completed endurance. Lancashire on the hunt for the same. They come across the line with a time of 1:21.72. 9 laps down, 10th in progress. And that's exactly what they need to do, keeping it consistent. Yui also looking fairly consistent. This time a 1:16.346 down, 7th in progress. Out also on track is Warwick, their latest lap of 1:08 on their second. They are coming across the line then, Warwick. Their third lap is in progress. Again, this is looking a lot stronger than the first session, Jess.
Yeah, the second session are the faster guys, so you would expect to be quick. I got an interesting story about Warwick actually, about the acceleration. Both of their drivers were female, which is a really good thing that we're getting more females in Formula Student UK to actually race on the track. They've got an initiative going on driven by her, which is an initiative to try and get more women into Formula Student. And it is nice that they're leading that example.
Warwick went off track there. We didn't quite capture it. We got them coming back on. I heard a lot of tyre squeal. I thought it was coming from Lancashire. It may have been Warwick losing it, heading off track. As Lancashire come across the line with a time then of 1:20.29, their fastest. That would have been their tyre score. They're beginning to push it, are Lancashire. 13 laps for each driver. Their 11th lap in progress now for Lancashire. Yui heading towards us in the commentary box now, coming through the final corners to complete what is going to be their 7th lap, and it's going to be a time of 1:28.22. Not quite sure what happened with Warwick. All we saw was them heading back onto the course, Jess.
I believe they will get a bit of a penalty then if the off track is their fault and not caused by a car going off. But the benefit of this session, this is likely the teams that have had hardly much reliability issues, which means, fingers crossed, we're not going to get much yellow flags, which means...
On that subject though, there is a yellow flag waving. I think it may be a cone replacement. I think it's just a cone replacement.
Yeah, I was getting a bit worried because I can see all cars on the track at the moment. I do see Lancashire, I see Warwick, I see Ewing. And I see Staffordshire.
Yeah, we really do see Staffordshire. Not only do you see Staffordshire, you hear Staffordshire. And off they go across the line. Meanwhile, Lancashire coming in with another lap to complete, but there is an incredibly fast car number 4. They've qualified down here towards the back. Staffordshire over the line to complete their first lap. 101.66.
Wow, that's more like it for endurance. Staffordshire know how to go quick, and that was a good time right off the gate.
It really was, Jess. And I also think it was clean. I couldn't see any cones, but then again, there's a lot going on, so you may be able to keep an eye better than we can. Once more onto the breach, says Staffordshire on the back of their rear wing, and that's a cracking shot because you've got 3 cars all lapping at once there.
We haven't seen that in ages.
We haven't. Ewing, Warwick, and of course Staffordshire. Meanwhile, coming across the line is Lancashire. Now this will be to complete their 12th lap with a time of 1:17.66.
1 lap to go into the driver change.
I think Staffordshire have just overtaken Ewing. Not much of a surprise, to be honest, given that was a 1:01 from Staffordshire right out of the gate. If I was Warwick, you're lapping quickly, Warwick, you might want to put your foot down if you want to stay ahead, or just be prepared for the blue zone. Right now, eyes on Lancashire as driver number 1 is on their final lap. Warwick under pressure from the charging Staffordshire. Plenty of cheering going on here on the hill at Cops, as coming towards us in the view of the camera there is Warwick. There, meanwhile, is Lancashire. As Lancashire head towards the back end of the course into the fast speed section. They're going to come through this chicane on the left here, untroubled so far by anybody else trying to overtake, which will mean that they've got a clear run potentially, but you can see Staffordshire in the background there. Hopefully for Lancashire, they won't have to head into the blue overtaking bay. They can get to the checkered flag. The checkered flag, in fact, is out in preparation for Lancashire as they come through the final corner. And there is the checkered flag waiting for driver number 1. Lancashire about to complete then their first stint. Excellent stuff for car 46. There's the checkered flag. That's it done. The stopwatch now is on for us here in the commentary box. A minimum of 3 minutes. Staffordshire on their way then. That will be...
The 59s!
Lap number 4 in progress. Lap number 3 is just said. Yes, 59.4 for Staffordshire. Yui completing lap number 9 with a 1:39.95. And Lancashire into the pits. Their last lap of 1:20.30. Warwick, meanwhile, lap number 8 underway. 7 completed with a 1:06.72, their latest.
Yes, indeed, and we still got the fast teams to go, and Staffordshire's definitely proven that. Yui's not got that long until they got the driver change, and we can see Yui's getting a bit more confident. Yui's time just now was 1:16.68, still a bit slower, but they're still hanging in there, is Yui.
University of West of England then on to their 11th lap. Driver change not a million miles away. Staffordshire, meanwhile, having broken the 60-second barrier here on endurance. They're twisting through the final corner. The team going wild. They're very pleased with the performance from this driver, and why wouldn't you be? Because it's an absolute stonker of an endurance run. Warwick coming through then. Here is Staffordshire into the bus stop and through the chicane now onto the approach. They've got the cone there. That's a cone very much dismissed there by the rear wheel of Staffordshire. It wouldn't be Staffordshire without several cones as they come out of the hairpin and onto the slalom. There's Yui coming out of shot there. They are currently on what I believe to be their 11th lap, so not far for them to go before their driver swap as they head into the Bales hairpin at the bottom of the course. Through that they go.
Our run order keeps flying away in the commentary box, but we do have Vermilion in the queue next, so they'll be going out very, very soon. But Yui then up to line with their 11th lap completed, which is going to be a 1:13.67. That's more like it from Yui at the moment. Staffordshire coming across the line to complete their next lap. This looks like a fast one. Good Staffordshire, and it's their best lap.
It is indeed 59.05. Staffordshire lapping below the 60 consistently, and the team very, very pleased with that. We can hear it here at Cops as through the hairpin of Brutus Maximus goes Yui. Now I would stay with this angle if you can, because I want to see where the gap is. There's the gap to Staffordshire. Yui potentially may have to consider the overtaking bay towards the Mansell Meander at the end of the course. I don't think they're going to need this overtaking bay right ahead. No, they are. Staffordshire are that quick that Yui are going to have to pull in and be overtaken. They've done so successfully and cleanly. Staffordshire cheering away, others cheering away as well. Warwick getting a lot of love naturally as they complete their 9th lap, 10th in progress, 1:06.58 their 9th time. Yui coming up to complete their 12th lap. Only one more lap for driver number 1 from the University of the West of England. A 1:13.67 is their latest. What is their next lap going to be then? We're going to find out shortly, but Staffordshire across the line with them, and Staffordshire across the line with a 1:00.15. Yui over the line with a 1:17.03.
Don't forget they had to slow down due to the overtaking bay.
Yeah, absolutely. 3 minutes is up though for Lancashire, so they can head out on track at any point now. But that, for a moment, there was a momentary loss of power there for Yui. Now we know that they are struggling possibly with their clutch. The clutch is a bit worn and they're struggling with it. That maybe it wasn't getting up into gear. Warwick on the approach then to Yui, and we know that Warwick is incredibly quick. It's a very light car with electric motor in the back, so instantaneous torque. Warwick have completed their latest lap, lap number 10, with a 1:05.00, 11th in progress, as across the Lancashire are back out. Very well done to them. Only 51 seconds post the 3 minutes. So
whoa, I said they got the minute restart, so
exactly.
They were on it. They were on
That's
it.
absolutely bang on from Lancashire, like a well-oiled machine as Staffordshire crossed the line to complete their 7th lap in 58.17. It's their fastest out on track, and the team are absolutely chuffed with that one. Yui though back being overtaken under the power once more. They were overtaken by Warwick as we suspected. Yui then on their, what I suspect
They're about to do the driver change, Giles.
This is the final lap for driver number 1 for Yui. Warwick coming through out of shot there. They've overtaken them, but they've still got several laps to do before the checkered flag appears. Here it is then for car 121, University of the West of England, with the Triumph Street Triple in the back. And the clock starts now as they head into the pit lane. They've got to be static for 3 minutes with the engine off. Lancashire being overtaken by Staffordshire. Staffordshire right up their chuff. They really do want to get on with this, do Staffordshire, prove a point and get as many points as they possibly can. 250 up for grabs here in Endurance. Look at the way that rolls through the corners. Absolutely gorgeous there from Staffordshire.
Staffordshire always have a good car. They always have a nail machine. They have good team members as well. They just seem to develop bigger and better things every year. That's why they're one of the best teams in Formula Street, consistently in the top 4 for the last few years.
Without a shadow of a doubt, Jess. Warwick on your screens now. Their 11th lap has been a 1:08.78. Their 12th lap is in progress. Not a million miles away then for them heading in for their driver swap. Talking about the driver swaps, can we just appreciate how perfect Lancashire's was? 3 minutes 51, and that you have to be static for 3 minutes. That's
so basically they I think they did a restart in like 50 seconds, or they might have done it in less than that.
I think they would have done it in less, because obviously they've got to pull up. We don't get the exact timings here. We're just doing this approximately with a stopwatch here in the commentary box, but hats off to Lancashire.
The timing might start once they get to the pit.
Precise. I think it does, Jess. So take a few seconds off. They have been very, very well done there for Lancashire as Staffordshire head towards the line, or at least they should do. Here they come through the final corner. No problems for them. We know Glasgow Caledonian like splitting on the inside there. Staffordshire looking brilliant with a 59.06. 9 laps completed, 10th in progress. The checkered flag back again, this time for Warwick as they head in for their driver swap. Here's Glasgow Caledonian on your screens occupying the hot seats. They're giving a wave to the cameras there. This is the team to beat with a time of 40.13.96. And like good Lancashire beyond for that. Here they are then, driver number 2 behind the wheel of the car from Lancashire. Lap 15 now underway, 138.73 their latest.
It's going to be hard to keep an eye on the stopwatch in the commentary box where we have multiple people finishing their laps. We've got driver swaps everywhere, so we'll figure it out with Warwick as they come through. But I think Lancashire has come to a halt.
I think it's being overtaken.
Are they being overtaken as Warwick have done the first driver lap? Well, the first 30 laps for driver 1. They're going to be in the driver swap. I was getting a bit worried there for Lancashire, but they're all good. They're all good.
Lancashire continuing on their way as Warwick head into the pits. Staffordshire, meanwhile, blisteringly quick. Their fastest, a 58.17. Their latest, a 58.49. 10 laps complete, 11th underway. Lancashire back out, currently completing, I think, their 16th lap with a 147.82, their latest. That will have been inhibited by the overtake as Warwick came through. Meanwhile, here's Staffordshire on your screens. Incredibly fast car, but those wings, whilst it makes them very quick through the corners, they do also pick up cones, which is hardly ideal. You will get penalised for it, but then again,
that's what hindered them during their first lap. I think they lost running time because of it in the sprint, if you remember.
This is exactly it, Jess. Coming through the Mansell Meander now and onto the final corner as they approach the completion of their 11th lap, and it is a 57.72. Again, their fastest. They keep getting better and better. The team cheering for sheer delight as they approach now their 12th lap, the penultimate lap for driver number 1 for Staffordshire. Lancashire driver number 2 on their way. Their fastest was a 117.66, their latest a 147.82. Not a million miles away from completing another lap. You can back out there.
They were on it like Lancashire, about the same time.
Yeah, 3:52 approximately, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was 3:52. So both Lancashire and Newey on it with their driver changes.
Really impressive stuff. Taking as minimal time as possible in the driver change. You've got to have 3 minutes minimum, and they are wasting no time at all as Lancashire come through and they complete another lap with a time of 138.45. 17th lap now for Lancashire. Staffordshire now coming to cross the line and start the final lap for driver number 1. Sound
I love this. I love Staffordshire for that very reason, because the sound of their engine. I love internal combustion engines when it sounds great. I can't remember if they've done well in some of the static events as well. So I think I can see them score quite highly overall again.
Staffordshire though being slowed down by Warwick's car. Warwick are going to have to find the nearest overtaking bay and get out of the way because Staffordshire are on the charge. They clearly want that hot seat off of the Glaswegians from Glasgow Caledonian. 40.13.96 the time to beat. Staffordshire all over the rear end, and in fact not like Warwick. Of course it's not Warwick, they're in the pits. That's actually Lancashire. The sun was in our eyes.
Yeah, honestly, it was quite hard to see right now, as of course Warwick are going for driver 2, a team that's obviously quite surprised us here in Formula Student, but Staffordshire, they've done 12 laps, they're about to do their 13th lap. You can see the checker flag from the marshal getting ready to be waved then, and that's a good start for Staffordshire. Their first driver has done their stint, they'll be very happy with that. The clock has started for Staffordshire, that they're going to get going, and hopefully we'll see Warwick out there very soon. But Lancashire about to go on to their next run, which is a 1:35.03 for Lancashire.
Absolutely fantastic. That number 18 for University of Lancashire. We're beginning to get that just a bit closer. Remember, of course, you can give Yui a call. I've been asked to remind you. 0777 5109 545. Give them a call, drop them a text. Rate their driving as they come across the line to complete another lap, this time for driver number 2, and that is lap number 16 completed for the West of England. It's 113.72. which is not a million miles away, Jess, from their fastest time. As away go Warwick and back out on track.
They lost a bit of time there, but still minimal time, so they're able to keep going with no problem at all there. So Warwick on for driver 2. Touch wood, no problems with the driver changes so far in this session.
It has been a lot more promising than session 1. Session 1 was looking like a graveyard by the end of it. Hopefully we won't be in that position come the end of session 2. Lancashire on their way, Yui on their way, and behind them Warwick back out on track with driver number 2. In fact, all 3 cars on track currently are in their second stint. Yui pushing it. We did expect faster times from driver number 2 from Yui, and we're already beginning to see that, because here is the second driver already bedding in into the overtaking bay as Warwick come through. Of course, it's just a case of can Yui get back out on the power as soon as Warwick go through. Warwick being cheered, Lancashire being cheered. Yui, I think, yes, indeed, back on the power. So all looking like systems go at the moment for all 3 teams currently on track as through to complete the first lap of session 2, or stint 2, I should say, for Warwick, and through the Mansell Meander and onto the final corner. Across the line goes this wonderfully simple car, just excellent stuff. And of course, they crossed the line with a time of 1:10.38. Lap 15 completed then. Lap 14 completed possibly for the University of...
Yeah, lap 14, because don't forget
the duck one. Yes.
Yeah.
It's a mental maths that we've got to do here in the commentary box, don't mind us. Westervik, Yui have gone through with lap number 16 with a 1:34.17. Currently leading then, Glasgow in the hot seat, Glasgow Caledonian, a 40.13.1.96. There is University of Lancashire, the team closest to completing endurance, currently on what we believe to be their 19th lap.
With 18 completed very, very soon. And now I think they're pulling on the overtaking bay.
Yeah, they are indeed.
To let a charging Warwick through. Wow!
Warwick have just collected a few cones there, and
yes.
Unfortunately for Lancashire, they've had to negotiate the debris of that cone strike from Warwick, who are on an absolute send here. They'll come to the right of your screens. There they go, flying through. Lancashire, meanwhile, lapping consistently, and that's exactly what they need to do. They don't need to set any records. They could be only the second team to finish endurance if they keep on like this. Warwick coming past us here in the commentary box with a time of 1:13.16. Meanwhile, Lancashire coming through past us with a time of 1:38.36. 19 laps completed, 20th in progress for Lancashire. On your screens now. Meanwhile, coming to the end of another lap is Yui. They are currently on their 17th lap.
I have to say they were the third to the pass scrutineering on Friday. They seemed confident. They're definitely confident now. I think I remember someone who was in here saying driver 2 was obviously will start to feel a little bit less confident, of course, with driver 1, but he doesn't seem to be doing too bad at the moment. But for quite a lot of cars, it's just about getting to the finish. But they have a target to set at the moment, and they come across the line. Not their best lap.
Sorry, Jess, I've got to interrupt you there. Something's wrong with the Yui car.
It doesn't sound good, does
They've
it?
come through the final 2 corners, and it was looking very slow, and the driver was pushing at something on the dash. I'm not sure what's wrong. Possibly that clutch issue that was mentioned by Lee, but there was a momentary loss of power. It was crawling along for a moment through the last couple of corners, and there they are, still struggling with power. I'm really beginning to wonder whether they're going to be able to get back on it, because on the charge is Warwick, and Warwick are going to be very much held up. They've just drawn to a halt, have Yui. That's they're pushing on the restart, I think. And they are, yes, they are. They've just got back all no. Right, so that they're struggling with the restart. Warwick are building up behind them and coming through, I think, is Lancashire as well.
And so Stablisher's just dumped with their second driver.
So this is a queue now behind Yui as the chicane is dismantled to allow a passing place.
They won't get any penalties for that.
No, indeed. Through go Warwick, followed by Staffordshire. I think Yui will be held there until Lancashire can pass through as well. They'll be there momentarily, I'm in no doubt.
We were having such high hopes for Yui, weren't we?
We were indeed. Lancashire going through. Warwick being chased by Staffordshire. Warwick looking incredibly quicker than Staffordshire appear. Into the overtaking bay, no doubt, will go Lancashire. There's a cheer. Oh dear, hang on.
Oh God.
There's a crush of cones there as...
They almost made contact with each other.
Yeah, they did. That was close. That would have been a complete role reversal of 2021 had that been Staffordshire on Warwick. But meanwhile, Yui still struggling here.
Well, at least we can see the phone number.
Well, yes, exactly. Although, how's my driving? It's difficult to rate when you're not moving, unfortunately.
Not great at all for that one.
Into the overtaking bay go Staffordshire. Staffordshire being overtaken by Warwick. It's almost like...
It's like roles reversal. What?
Yeah, it strikes me that essentially what happened there was Warwick got overtaken, thought, I'm not having this, and he got back on the power.
Seems to be they're a bit faster than Staffordshire.
Yeah, indeed.
Oh, they're out. We are out.
Oh, heartbreak then for the University of the West of England. They are out as around the car go Warwick, followed by Staffordshire. Warwick finding a second wave of speed. They were overtaken by Staffordshire and then immediately retook the position as Lancashire crossed the line then to complete their 21st lap with a time of, or 22nd lap I should say, with a time of 1:37.90.
I think Lancashire are not not focusing on the speed as it looks like. Their reliability, and I'm almost certain their fuel efficiency, I think is going to be quite good. So I would expect big points in the efficiency for Lancashire.
Absolutely, Lancashire showing how it needs to be done. They're not looking for fastest laps. They're just looking to get it over the line. They'll gain significant points as a result of this. Another team that will gain significant points if they can keep going is Warwick, because not only is it very, very fast and light because of the way it's been designed. It's electric power, which will benefit so much in efficiency. And just got to keep on keeping on, which is exactly what they're doing. Staffordshire come through as well with a 1:12.00. Their fastest to 57.72. As it coming past Warwick's latest time was a 1:10.37. And Vermilion will be joining us momentarily, Jess.
Our runners up from last year are about to take to the track. Let's just hope that they can pull some good ones, because until they had that problem yesterday, they were rapid. Very, very rapid. That car looked good around this circuit. Expect some fast lap times to challenge Staffordshire.
Warwick seem to have really picked up the pace, but so too does Staffordshire. And I've got a funny feeling we're going to see these two swapping places until the end of their runs.
I think driver 2 seems to be a bit faster than driver 1. It looks like
Most teams do tend to hold on for their second driver to be their fastest. Lancashire in to be overtaken by not only Warwick but Staffordshire as well. The team erupting with joy as Staffordshire come through. The green flag shown to Lancashire, who go through.
the thing with Lancashire is every time they get stopped in the overtaking bay, they have no problems with starting the car again.
Yeah, exactly, and that's really impressive to say the least. It's a great deal of confidence to the team in the fact that they can just get on that restart.
And they have problems with that acceleration for getting the car started. So whatever they did,
They've ironed it out.
yeah.
Lap 23 underway then for Central Lancashire. 22 laps completed by our mark. 151.84 their latest. Bear in mind that was with significant overtaking. Their fastest at 117.66. Currently the second furthest distance travelled in endurance. The only team to complete endurance so far. Glasgow Caledonian occupiers of the hot seat with a 40.13.16. As away go Vermilion.
I'm trying to remember who's that in the car there. Is that good stuff?
Gustav is around here somewhere, and it was Gustav's birthday yesterday, so a massive happy birthday to Gustav. Meanwhile, Warwick coming through to complete yet another lap, and that is looking very quick indeed with a 1:06.80. Staffordshire coming in to complete their 17th lap, 18th in progress, a 1:06.81.
We got Lancashire in the middle of that section, currently towards the final corner, and you can see Warwick just feel fully planted in that car currently, as they're getting used to it. There's quite a few mixture of strategies as which driver's been put what, as we're seeing more overtakes once again, as Vermilion are already getting on it as they complete their first lap. Vermilion are going to be well, and something must have cost the timing beam there.
Something must have cost the timing beam, because that's not correct. The team cheering wildly for Lancashire and Staffordshire. The Shires are doing rather well here at Endurance Formula Student 2026. 24th lap in progress then for the University of Central Lancashire. 1:42.81 their latest, their fastest to 1:17.66. Staffordshire come across the line with a very, very fast Warwick behind them. They've only just got past Warwick, but even then, You can see these two teams are very evenly matched, no doubt. They've qualified in sprint together because they are right on each other's performance curves. And here we have then Staffordshire being chased down by the electric power of Warwick. IC versus EV. Two evenly matched cars, two completely different design ethoses, both competing here on track at Formula Student here at Silverstone.
Vermilion's just set their lap, and it's a 58.744 Vermilion. They are on it in that too.
Fantastic. We knew they would be. We knew there would be a fast time in this car. Staffordshire having to pull in for Warwick. Keep your eye out on Lancashire though, because there's not a very long way to go between them and the checkered flag. As here goes Warwick then with an open track ahead of them. They've got the place back from Staffordshire. Anything you can do, I can do better seems to come to mind between these two drivers. They're almost egging each other on, which is brilliant for us, but one does have to wonder whether they may want to ease off to make sure they can finish endurance, but there seems to be no issues with either car currently. Touch wood.
Touch everything.
Staffordshire coming through. Lancashire back down on track after pulling out of that overtaking bay. That lap time will be inhibited by the overtaking. That lap time of 142.59. As a Webcam Vermilion to complete another lap. Very, very quick indeed, Jess. And that time is a 0:58.18, their fastest time. Lap 3 completed for Denmark, lap 4 in progress. Here then, on track right now, are some incredibly evenly matched cars, and Lancashire is not a million miles away from completing endurance. They are under pressure though from Vermilion, who have to ease up and wait for the next overtaking space to become available, as through your screens come Warwick and Staffordshire on the chase between each other. It's a game of cat and mouse between Warwick and Staffordshire. Meanwhile, a game of patience for Vermilion as they wait for the overtaking bay for Lancashire to pull in. Lancashire less concerned with speed and track position and more concerned with how many laps they've got done, because they are very close indeed to finishing endurance, being the only second team to do so, Jess.
And don't forget, the more laps you complete, more points you get in endurance, and if you finish endurance, you get even more points after that. So we're crossing our fingers and toes for Lancashire in the commentary box, because this could be our second team. When they challenge Glasgow Caledonia, we'll have to wait and see. Vermilion have gone to complete their fourth lap, which is a 110.35, inhibited of course by the overtaking zone.
Yes, indeed. They had to wait patiently until they could get...
Whoa, that was a slide!
Well held there by Vermilion, who have had to work through the night on their rear suspension. Lancashire crossing the line with a 1:35.24. Lap 26 in progress. I think potentially they've got...
Well, they're on that. They got the checker flag. They're on their final lap, Giles.
Final lap then for Lancashire. And the team are incredibly pleased about that. Meanwhile, there is a queue of cars building up behind Warwick. Staffordshire go through, followed by Vermilion. But Vermilion, we know, are lapping faster than Staffordshire. Staffordshire then holding up the Danes, giving Warwick free space, while Lancashire have just got to negotiate the final corners of their final lap, and they could be only the second team to finish endurance at Formula Student 2026. Staffordshire will no doubt have to pull in, and yes, do they? No, I'm not sure. They don't have the blue flags out. Staffordshire carrying on, but Vermilion are slightly quicker, I suspect. The team, though, going wild for Lancashire, who are headed towards the final throws of this course. The checker flag waiting for the University of Lancashire as Staffordshire carry on. Through goes Warwick, looking very quick indeed, and they're not a million miles away from completing endurance themselves with a 1:31.54 their latest time. But eyes should be now on Lancashire. The checker flag is waiting. Here we go then, as they head through the final hairpin at the bottom of the course, the Bales hairpin. Only the Mansell Meander and the final corner to contend with, and this will be the second team to complete endurance at Formula Student 2026. Jess, are they going to challenge Glasgow Caledonian for the fastest time in endurance?
Here they cross the line, and Lancashire have completed in endurance. An amazing achievement for them, and it's a 44.21. Again, not relying on speed, and Glasgow Caledonian are still leading endurance with a 40.13. So about 4 minutes lower, but I think there's quite a few teams that could challenge that. But it's just an achievement just to make it to finish endurance. So congratulations, Lancashire. You should all be very proud of yourselves.
Several team members running over to congratulate the team. As coming past us in the commentary box are Staffordshire, who have completed 23 laps. On their 23rd lap, I should say. The 111.346, their last.
Yellow flag. I saw a yellow flag just
Might well be
momentarily.
just replacing cones. Bear in mind, Staffordshire
No,
are.
no. It's Warwick. It's
No!
Warwick.
Struth was not expecting that, but the red light is flashing once more on the roll hoop of the Warwick car. Can they get going once more? Because they
They're
are
so
so close. They are
close.
on their second to last lap here, Jess. Surely not. And yeah, they're back under power. Are back under power. 1.5 laps to go by our count in the commentary box for Warwick. Staffordshire flying along. They're currently doing their 23rd lap right now. Has passed us in the commentary box come Vermilion to complete what is going to be their 7th lap with a time of 59.55. 8th lap in progress.
And here are endurance champions from last year out there on the circuit. Another EV, the University of Birmingham, that won business presentation last night.
Wow, nice one for them. Excellent points. They're going to need them. The competition incredibly close this year. Very high bar for several teams, including the ones you're seeing on your screen right now. The Danes of Vermilion coming through that chicane with absolutely no problems whatsoever. It's a quick, nippy car. I really do like the Vermilion car.
I like their design as well.
There's a yellow flag though, Jess, and I do wonder who that's for. It's a blue flag now.
I think it was just a cone or something it looked
No,
like.
so I think Warwick lost power, got back on the power again, but are now being pulled in to what should be allow Vermilion through. But Vermilion have lost power. Vermilion have lost power,
Oh, no.
which has allowed Warwick to get back underway to start what will be their last lap. But Vermilion have lost power in the very centre of the Mansell Meander. Yellow flags out. Marshall running to get the cones to allow the teams to pass through.
Now that is a shock.
Really stunning there. Was not expecting to see that. Birmingham go through. Staffordshire will go through as well. Yes, indeed. Birmingham pass. Staffordshire pass. Bear in mind, Staffordshire finished just ahead of Birmingham last year.
No, it was the other way around. Birmingham finished just ahead of Staffordshire.
Right, Staffordshire's number 4 and Birmingham's number 5.
No, I mean in endurance.
Oh, I mean endurance, yes, I just meant overall. Sorry.
Yeah.
Birmingham then on the way, but all eyes then to Vermilion, who are stuck. And so are Staffordshire. Staffordshire back under power. There was a momentary loss of power for Staffordshire, who are so incredibly close to finishing their endurance one. 24 laps completed then for Staffordshire. 26th lap now, coming to a close, as will endurance come to an end for the University of Warwick, a team that has really caught our imaginations here this weekend at Formula Student 2026. The checkered flag is waiting for them. It waves for Warwick as they come past the stranded Vermilion car and take the checkered flag with a time of 437.28.78. Warwick leading in endurance provisionally, and they can take the hot seat. A very well done to the University of Warwick. Their team running across Copse Corner to go and congratulate them. Birmingham coming through to complete another lap for them. That will be their 3rd lap completed, I believe. In fact, no, that's their 2nd lap completed with a 108.48, their fastest time. 3rd in progress. Staffordshire then.
I think this is going to be the time that could challenge Warwick, but they were looking fast in the second stint, Warwick, so this is going to be close.
These two are swapping back and forth. They are very evenly paced. It's going to be very, very close indeed. Both of them will have been inhibited by this yellow flag because of Vermilion's car, and Staffordshire have got to slow right down to squeeze on past, completing what will be their penultimate lap. One more lap to go then for Staffordshire as they come across the line, the green flag showing. They've got an empty track to an extent because Birmingham are on the other side of the course, so Staffordshire really can leave it all hanging out on the track for their last lap. Their most recent are 121.15.
They're just bringing it home, Giles. I think that's what they're doing. They just want to keep it conservative.
You can see they've slowed right down. They don't want anything going wrong now. Once more under the breach for the final time for Staffordshire. The team on tenterhooks, very vocal, and they are going to get even louder if they can get through these final corners. It really isn't over until you see the checkered flag. Very first year I was commentating here in 2022, UCL ground to a halt on the last corner of the last lap. It can all go wrong in a split second. So do not count your chickens before they have hatched, but I have to say, Staffordshire have looked incredibly confident throughout the last 26 laps. The final lap then, underway for Staffordshire. Only the last few corners to go. The Welsh Wonder And of course, the Bales hairpin, followed by the Mansell Meander. The yellow flag still showing for Vermilion. It's not going to be the dramatic end to the lap that they may have done otherwise. We know they can send it, but the checker flag is there nonetheless. In Staffordshire, the driver knows what they've done. They are cheering like mad people. They are over the moon, and rightfully so. And they are taking the lead in endurance with a 34.0707. Staffordshire leading in endurance, Jess.
And Staffordshire can now take their place in the hot seat, and a lot of the people from Staffordshire University are making their way to cheer on and congratulate their drivers. Incredible stuff. We still see Birmingham out there on the circuit. They've got a clear track with most of the cars now out of the way. They just got the yellow flag of car number 2 to contend with as well. Obviously, Birmingham always do well in endurance last year because of their consistency and able to deal with any challenges. We're trying to see in our commentary box on what is happening to Vermilion. Their car is still stationary out there on the circuit. This doesn't look good for them, Giles.
It doesn't look good for the Danes, and absolute commiserations to Matilda and the rest of the team who've come all the way from Denmark. They compete in FS UK every year. They always make the journey, and they are always welcome. Such great people. It's such a great shame to see them struggling in endurance like this. Meanwhile, Birmingham then waiting for a moment to pass, and there they go, squeezing on through. The track's been adjusted to allow for a pass past the Vermilion car. Malta waiting to have a go as well. As across the line, they go, and have they been black and orange flagged? I think they must have been. Birmingham has been brought in, and wasn't it? No, the session has been red flagged. The session has been red flagged. So there it is then. Vermilion have come to a halt in the Mansell Meander, and we were wondering between us why it was taking so long to clear the car, and I suspect there is why. They've had to red flag the session.
So they could get the car out, so it looks like it'll be a DNF for Vermilion.
That does indeed, yes. That's a DNF for Vermilion and a red flag for this session. Birmingham were midway through. Birmingham, in fact, had just completed their 5th lap with a 106.42. Their fastest a 104.49. So this time will not be added to the overall for endurance. We'll just have to do the maths ourselves. In fact, Jess, do you want to get the stopwatch going until the session gets back underway? Because we'll have to deduct this from
But we'll
the
probably
time.
have to deduct more.
Yeah, a couple of minutes extra. But the session has been red flagged, unfortunately. And we're just waiting to see.
Yeah, Vermilion are official confirmed DNF of endurance, which is a bit unfortunate, which means, unfortunately, they're not going to be able to challenge the likes of Biscaya and Modena and Edith Cowan for the overall victory for Machine 2036. They have to wait another year.
They will do, and that's heartbreaking for a team who are so welcoming and so fun. I actually sat with them during the awards evening yesterday. They adopted me, and I was very grateful for their time and how welcoming they were. Meanwhile then, the session red flagged until they can get the car off the circuit. They've got it onto the grass. I suspect it was something to do with the high voltage, because bear in mind, of course, that you can't touch the car until the green light's showing. And you can see the light on the roll cube. It's called the T-cell. You can only touch the car if it's electric, if it's got the green light showing. I believe the red light was showing, but it still wasn't going anywhere. They had to get it cleared, they had to check all the safety procedures accordingly, and as a result they had to red flag the session rather than be able to move it with the yellow flags as you usually expect. So that's why we're under red flag conditions here at Silverstone right now. And you can see on your screens there, plenty of spectators taking advantage of the nicest weather we've commentated on together, Jess, at Silverstone.
Yeah, I think most of the years it's been raining for some of it, if not all of it. So
Precisely.
we're quite lucky. But if you're in the Grands, if you're at least in the banks, put your sunscreen on.
Yes, don't do what I did yesterday and end up getting sunburnt. My head looks like a tomato. I can't lie.
You did get pointed out on that.
Yeah, there's been a few. Oh, you look a bit red. Yeah, I'm aware. There's these things called mirrors. Anyway, more to the point. When they want it, Staffordshire, the hot seat is yours.
Oh, they got to go through pro screen first.
I think so. Look, see, is there anybody from Staffordshire in the hot seat? No, there's just a general spectator taking advantage of the hot seat in the sim.
Why not?
Oh,
Why
no,
not?
exactly. Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you? Malta on the line then. Meanwhile, Romario saying gutted for Vermilion. That car is so fast. It really is. Meanwhile, for Malta, Matthias will be driving first and then switching to Bernard. Plenty of love then for Malta, who are on the line, waiting for the session to get back underway. Moments away, I suspect, from getting underway here at Silverstone.
And we'll stop the stopwatch as soon as the green flag running, so we could, as soon as Birmingham get underway.
We can get an approximate time then, properly, because of course Birmingham were in the middle of their stint and they'll need to be brought back out.
Yeah, I think I think one team that I remember got caught by so many red flags when there was changeable conditions was Malta.
Yes, indeed. Malta just can contend with a lot of things. I'll tell you who did really well last year through all those red flags was Lancashire. Not Lancashire, Lancaster. No, Leicester, that was it.
Yeah, Leicester.
There's a lot of L teams. Leicester did so well through all that constant rain causing red flags. We're still waiting then to get back underway. Malta on the line. You can see behind them we've got Bizkaya, behind them Edith Cowan. Somewhere in the mix, waiting to go, will be Birmingham, who had to abort their first stint because of the red flag. I'm hoping they'll be able to get back underway. I can't quite see them though.
If they can't get it depends if they are allowed out. I'm just trying to see if they're somewhere. I can see Bizkaya and Edith Cowan, and that's it.
Alas, yes. So Malta waiting on the line for the session to recommence.
We can see Birmingham.
And hey, they've got the umbrellas out, and rightfully so. It's a bangers in cash themed umbrella. So
looks like they don't have any problems then. They're just waiting to get the car running again. Looks like.
Meanwhile, the only thing moving currently is this bird of prey currently circling the course. All right for some. We'd like to get moving ourselves, but unfortunately we're just waiting for the Vermilion car to be cleared. We're under the impression here in the commentary box that's the reason for the red flag. Bear in mind though that the Vermilion car has been moved to the grass. I don't know whether they want it actually back into the pit lane or whether they could get back underway right now. The umbrellas coming out for the other team sat in the cockpits waiting to go. You can see the Vermilion car on the other side of the white Armco with one of their team members, I believe, or is that one of the photographers? I think that's one of their team members sat with the car.
They only allowed, I think, 3 other people with pink bibs with them.
So here's the team that were in the middle of their session before it was red flag. That's Birmingham. They completed 5 laps. Their fastest at 104.49. One of the team members with the bangers in cash brolly out, keeping the driver as shaded as possible, because as you were saying earlier today, Jess, those things are going to be really hot, because not only is it a close, tight, compact space, but they've also got race overalls on.
And you're going to gain more heat when you just sat there as well. So that's why they got the umbrella up. I do believe Malta is about to get going, it looks like.
It does indeed look like we're about to get back underway for session 2 of Endurance. Malta, a firm favourite on the live stream. Plenty of love from around the world for these guys, including from Kirsty, their former team lead, who says she's got everything crossed for them. It's got to get back underway then. Do the Maltese team for this session. Birmingham waiting. I am surprised, Jess, that it's Malta.
It's been about 5 minutes since Birmingham has been seen on track.
I know, but they're still there waiting. It doesn't look like there's a problem, but equally, I am rather surprised that we haven't actually got Birmingham ahead of Malta in the queue. I would have put Birmingham in first because they were midway through their session.
I would have done the same if I was, but I can hear him that Malta's car being put under power.
Here we go then. You can see the red light on the roll hoop. The red flag's been brought in, and away go Malta. Now keep your eyes on this team, because here's a very exciting team of drivers with a very exciting, very responsive, nimble, quick car. And there's another electric sound sounding off here on Cops Corner, so I've got the funny feeling Birmingham are about to re-enter the fray as well as University of Malta approach Brutus Maximus, the hairpin at the top of the course. Yes, Birmingham are back on the line. They were midway through their first stint as through the slalom for the first time in endurance. Go Malta. Red light flashing away on the roll hoop. All systems go at the moment.
It looks like speed control, and Birmingham are back on circuit. The stopwatch has stopped.
So okay, so that's about 7 minutes by our mark that will be added on to their time provisionally. Of course, it will be deducted. It will be deducted more accurately than we can do here in the commentary box. We just want to give you an approximation of what we can expect for the total overall time for Birmingham. It will be affected by the red flag as we get it in the commentary box, but officially that will be deducted, so don't panic if you're supporting Birmingham. Across the line then come Malta for their first lap. Surely it's under 60 seconds immediately. It's got to be. It's not, in fact.
That didn't look faster than a 60-second lap, Giles. Which was it? I think I looked conservative for their first run for Malta, which I was quite surprised at.
Yeah.
But I love the slide that Malta have been doing. The way that all their drivers have been driving up this weekend have been amazing. I love to watch them.
We really do. Here in the commentary box, and by the looks of things on the live stream, plenty of love for Malta. Loads and loads of love. Reese, Jonathan, Aidan, Clem, John, Matthew Pearce, meanwhile cheering on for Modena, and Grog cheering on for Birmingham. Both Birmingham and Modena out on track at the moment. Now, Birmingham have now completed their 6th lap, and we can see there that it is about 7 minutes or approximately added on to their time for Birmingham, 7 or 8 minutes added on. So we'll deduct that later to give you a provisional result as best we can with a bit of mental maths. Malta coming through the Mansell Meander to complete their 2nd lap as Birmingham carry on their right way, driving the red 5 through the chicane that tests out the car's handling capability. Malta coming across the line with a 108.13, 2nd lap completed, 3rd in progress. University of Birmingham right now are underway with their 7th lap. 104.49 is their fastest. Their latest lap was inhibited by the red flag. The question is, of course, then, what can they do here with an empty track? And it's looking very, very positive indeed for Birmingham as they come through the final corner and across the line with a time of 102.80. It's their fastest time for Birmingham as they attempt to accommodate for that red flag. They needn't bother. It will be deducted, of course, but equally, you just know they've been chomping at the bit to get going, Jess.
Yeah, I think they've been dying to get going, and Birmingham is a team that, with this form of student card, they've been doing it alongside a lot of other teams that you're seeing here today with extracurricular activities. They're doing it alongside their degree. A lot of hard work has been done for all of their drivers. They've scored really highly in static and dynamic before. They want to score higher in the dynamic events. Of course, they finish highly in the presentation. And Malta's just done another lap, which is a 106.82. That's their 3rd lap completed in endurance so far. Birmingham are on to their next lap. Look, this looks like a lot faster from them.
It really does indeed. Now, Birmingham are running a single rear wheel motor, 80 kilowatts, carbon fibre monocoque, approximately 170 kilograms. You should be looking for that's the total weight of the car, I should say. If you want the exact weight, then head over to FS Stats. The side diffusers using Venturi tunnels to ensure that the car sticks to the ground, a similar aero concept to those being run by ECU and Modena. Carbon fibre suspension, it's a bold move, but a lot of teams are running it this year. They've got ambitious weight targets with 2 kilograms saved on the wish bar. On the wishbone itself, the geometry is now moved inboard. All wishbones are carbon fibre with the tracking rod is steel. 2 halves per upper wishbone bonded together with bearing housing chipped in via suppression, clipped in I should say. So this is very impressive from Birmingham. Bizkaia now, last year's winners, out on track as they go through the chicane and head to in the first hairpin of the course. The Brutus Maximus is getting warm in here as things really do hot up out on track. You can see the heat rising from the tarmac and things are getting close, aren't they, Jess?
Yes, we are about to see the 3 winners for former student over the past 3 years go out on track and complete endurance. This is the part which I'm really, really excited to see them go out head to head to see who's going to be the fastest out of the 3 of them. In my opinion, these 3 teams are out of the ones with complete endurance. I think Bizkaia are taking it conservatively on this lap for now, just to make sure the driver gets embedded in. I know with Bizkaia, they've got a lot of drivers in their roster, so I think it might just be one of their new drivers getting their eye in.
Bizkaia waving their team's flag here at Cox Corner. They're on camera and away they go then. Their first lap is a 111.20, fully electric behind the wheel there of the Spaniards. Meanwhile, Malta coming through to complete yet another lap, and that is a 105.045 down, 6th in progress, 26 needed for both teams as the Australians now make an appearance. They are next in the queue. Birmingham coming across the line with a time of 1:03.35, 10th lap completed, 11th in progress. Driver number 1, well on their way to completing their stint despite a red flag earlier after Vermilion failed to finish. As here they come through Brutus Maximus. See how much power they shed? I'm not suspecting a lot. A lot of them seem to be freewheeling on entry, dab on the brake, and then full power on exit. Nicely done there by Birmingham through the slalom. It gets ever tighter as it progresses onto the high-speed section of the course. Watch how the car responds to these incredibly harsh corners. Here's my favourite part of the course. This chicane here just really defines the car suspension setup. Biscaya setting another time of 1:07.51. Malta following suit very quickly. Jess, what have they got?
Malta has just done a 1:03.63, their fastest lap time.
And here is Birmingham to come across through the Mansell meander and complete another lap for themselves behind the wheel of Red 5, named after their Birmingham compatriot Nigel Mansell. And that time is, I believe, a 1:03.67. Very nice indeed from Birmingham. That is their 11th lap complete, 12th in progress. Penultimate lap for driver number 1. Edith Cowan waiting in the wings. Kevin will be joining us on the microphone for their runs. If you're watching down under, it will be a familiar voice for you from your coverage of Formula Student Australasia. A nice crossover that we like to do every year, that the Australians make an appearance.
Every other year.
Making an appearance through the shot is, of course, Malta. Meanwhile, Birmingham then, very close to finishing their first stint here. The sunlight glinting off that dark red. I love the car.
It just looks fantastic, doesn't it?
It really does. We're looking at some very high quality cars out on track. This car coming through with a
1:05.02.
and Malta coming across the line, following very close behind with a 1:03.14. Meanwhile, here's Birmingham to finish their penultimate lap for stint 1 of endurance as they cross the line, and this is going to be another quick time, I suspect, and it is in fact a 1:02.93, very close to their fastest time. Nice and consistent from Birmingham. Driver number 1 on their final lap then. As away go Edith Cowan. Now this is going to be incredibly vital for these guys because they are nearing the top spot and it's incredibly rarefied air at the top up there, and they've got to do everything they can in order to take the fight to the Basque Country and Modena. Kevin, how's it going for you guys?
Well, we're about as nervous as we could be, Giles. It's very, very close up top. I think there's only about 20 points separating the top 3 by our best guess. So it's going to be decided here in this endurance.
And what is the approach that Edith Cowan are taking to this endurance? Because of course you've got to get it over the line, but in this instance, and quite possibly for one of the first times here at Formula Student, speed and endurance may actually make the difference.
Well, absolutely. I think the last time we were here, we had a little bit of a leeway going into the endurance event, but Modena is actually leading the competition at the moment, so we can't stand back. We're going to have to push very, very hard, and Modena is going to have to do the same.
I should also point out, just a quick update before we turn our attention back to Edith Cowan, Malta mistook the checkered flag that was put out for Birmingham, and at the end of their first stint, they made a mistake and Malta have gone into the pits prematurely. They thought the checkered flag was for them, it was for the car following them, Birmingham, and as a result Malta have entered the pits having not completed their first stint. This will be time added to their overall run for endurance, which is less than good for Malta. On your screens now, of course, is ECU. Now you may see the rear wheels step up under hard cornering. They may jump into the air. That's because you're not running a differential. Would you mind explaining that, Kevin?
No, it's a solid rear axle. It's actually from a micro sprint, and we shorten it. Has a solid axle, so you have to drive it a little bit like a go-kart. So the suspension's designed to be able to unload that inside rear and just ride it on the outside. So you've got full drive on exit, but it does sometimes lift that inside up.
It does indeed, as we might be able to see it through here potentially. Currently driving for yourselves on ECU. Your time, latest 1:01.23, the fastest time so far for Edith Cowan. 2 laps down, 3rd in progress. Looking very, very quick and very, very consistent, I should say. Meanwhile, have Malta returned to the track is another question that we do have, and I can't quite see from here, but the Maltese team came in prematurely, and there's a black and white flag out for Biscaya. There's a black and white flag out for Biscaya.
Oh no.
Now what a black and white flag meaning?
Well, I'm not sure what they're seeing here. The Basque team is going very quick. That was a 62.94. So they got enough pace.
They've got enough pace, but why on earth there's been a black and white flag shown to those guys, I don't know. Meanwhile, here's Modena being wheeled, not Malta being wheeled out the way. Malta are out. Malta are out. That's an absolutely staggering result for a team that's been so on it all weekend. I'm absolutely stunned by that. Edith Cowan going through with a 59.57, 3 laps complete, 4th in progress. Jess is just looking up exactly what's meant by that black and white flag that's been shown to Bizkaia. We don't know. Hopefully Dan Jones, who's about to join us in the commentary box, might be able to provide some answers.
It doesn't say in the rules.
It doesn't say in the rules, but surely a man of your experience would know, Dan, the black and white flag. Hopefully we'll be able to bring you some answers for that in just a second. Edith Cowan flying around, Bizkaia coming through. They're lapping very quickly indeed. In fact, their latest is a 104.75, only 2 seconds slower than their fastest. 7 laps complete for Bizkaia, 8th in progress. The Aussies, their fastest time is their latest, a 59.57, 4th lap in progress for Edith Cowan as they come through the Mansell Meander. A little twitch on the right-hand side there, well held through the final corner. Here comes the finishing line for this lap. It's a time of 58.95, their fastest lap, 4 laps down, 5th in progress for ECU.
Oh, and we have Modena out on the track as well. So I have it on good authority that Modena are running the absolute speed guy that was put that autocross time in first up. So they're going fast driver first, so this should be some fireworks.
It really should be. Now then, here comes Modena. What is their time going to be? Well, it would be, wouldn't it? Immediately out of the gate, 59.23. Lap 1 down for Modena. Lap 2 in progress. It's all happening here at Silverstone. Edith Cowan in contention with Bizkaia and Modena. Vermilion out. It comes down to these 3 teams, 20 points between them as Edith Cowan fling themselves into the Bales hairpin and onto the Mansell Meander. Meanwhile, here is Birmingham, and we expected this. It happened the last time they were here. Modena flying along so quickly, even the quick teams have got to pull in. The blue flag is out. I must say, Modena being a little more polite about it than they were 3 years ago. And through they go nice and cleanly. Modena back on the power. Birmingham untroubled and unmolested by the Italians, and they're back out on there with their they're back out, in fact, Birmingham on their second stint now, which is excellent to see. Immediately, 30 seconds later, and they're almost crossing the line. This is incredibly quick from Modena, and that is a time there of 102.06.
They did have to put a pass on in that last lap, so that last lap was a good one for Edith Cowan University with a 58.7. But one of the things to note here, Giles, is that there's very different fueling between these 3 top teams. Oh, ECU, they're collecting cones. That was 3 cones hit there. Obviously just pushing a little bit too hard.
Meanwhile, I've got to update you that Bizkaia have drawn to a halt on the approach to the first hairpin on the side closest to us in the commentary box. Edith Cowan coming through with a time of 106.39.
So I'd hazard a guess they probably got held up by a car in that last lap.
And the green light is flashing on the Bizkaia car.
Oh, we absolutely don't want to see this. Bizkaia was still absolutely in this competition. They, of course, being an electric car, were going to use a lot less energy on this run. So Modena, with a much more powerful engine, will use the most fuel, but they will likely be the fastest car that we see out here. Edith Cowan somewhere in the middle.
And this is it, and this is what it's all offset by. Fuel usage, efficiency, speed, it all comes together. But unfortunately, it's looking like Bizkaia will not be able to complete their run. Last year's winners are looking to be out, and it becomes a 2-horse race between the 2 hybrid cars from Australia and Italy, as indeed Edith Cowan are now up against Modena for the win. Bizkaia are out, wheeled away, as Edith Cowan come through past us in the box, a time of 105.60.
Well, I think there must be some sort of hold up on the track at the moment, because that's considerably slower than the teams have been going.
And they're pulling in now to be overtaken by nobody.
No, that's a bit of worrying. That looks like that was a bit of an issue with the powertrain there.
drama truly building to gargantuan proportions here at Silverstone. Birmingham on their way, having completed 15 laps, 16th in progress for the team from Birmingham, 120.52 their latest, out on track at the moment. The two teams vying for victory here at Formula Student 2026. The Australians of Edith Cowan, the Italians of Modena. What on your screens right now, ECU, both teams running a very similar concept, executed ever so differently. And this is where it will come down to. As Kevin was just saying there, Edith Cowan running a less powerful engine will consume less fuel, so they will be better in efficiency, but it will be slower. Modena incredibly quick, powerful power unit, but as a result of that, they may run slightly slower in efficiency.
Well, I was a little bit worried by that as it passed us. That was a little bit of a backfire, and this car doesn't actually backfire for us. So they have been past Birmingham.
Yes, Birmingham have been passed, we believe.
So we're seeing Modena chase down Edith Cowan right now. It won't be long. Hopefully for us that we could stay ahead a little bit longer and not have to pass. You do lose some time if you get past. And Modena are pushing hard.
Honestly, you wouldn't want to be in a position to see one of your main rivals go out with a technical failure. You just wanted to fight them on track. It's a shame, but as Birmingham, I think they're being pulled by, they're in the overtaking bay. But yeah, it must be such a shame to have this car not compete with you in Modena for the title.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, they're a fantastic team. It's been a really friendly rivalry this weekend. This definitely looks like there's something going on with the Edith Cowan car. It's doing a minute on that last lap, but that's a little bit higher than what we were getting on previous laps. Now, you want it to be a close competition, but you want to see all of these teams finish. And it's always heartbreaking when you're a part of a team and you don't get through endurance or you don't get through scrutineering. You put a lot of work into it. All the students here put a lot of work into all their cars, and you certainly don't want to be that.
And it must have been a heartbreak moment when we saw yesterday's sprint where you almost had a problem with the car. How did your drivers cope with that?
They reset pretty well. It did upset the session a little. It looked like it was just a fouled plug. We switched to E85 this year, and we've had a little bit of issues just keeping plugs alive. And the stop-start of a Saturday hasn't been nice to it. But once you warm it up, it tends to clean up the plugs. So.
Yeah, and it looks like since that trouble, they seem to be performing quite well, but that lap time, 59.16, still not much to with Modena. Next is Modena with that 7 completed 56.28. That's the fastest time I think we've seen so far.
Yes, I think he's a fantastic driver. I think he's had a lot of experience in karts. And he's been driving for Modena for quite a while now. A really very good driver.
Yes, indeed. I believe he may have even been one of the younger drivers here back in 2023 at the very start of his degree. Edith Cowan, though, keeping up with them near enough. 60 seconds is a distant memory for Edith Cowan and, of course, Modena. The fastest time from Edith Cowan at 58.70, their latest at 59.16. The fastest time from Modena is their latest at 56.28. Edith Cowan on their way now to complete the first stint for driver number 1. 11th lap in progress, and then draw to a close of lap 11, crossing the line of 58.47. Their fastest time coming up behind them very quickly on the charge is their nearest rivals, Modena, with a 56.47, 0.2 of a second slower than their fastest time. 8 laps completed for Modena, 9th in progress. In the case of ECU, that's the 11th lap completed, their 12th in progress. And how long can it be before they do have to pull into one of the overtaking bays? Modena ever so slightly faster with that more powerful IC unit in the back, but of course that will use more fuel. Incredibly evenly matched.
Yeah, I think we expected to see this. So Seb's a really good driver, but is probably the second of our drivers, whereas we've got our second driver up against their first. So we did expect that Modena would be able to put the pass on, but we're hoping to return the favour in the second run.
Excellent stuff. Kean Butler will be behind the wheel for the second stint for Edith Cowan. It's through go Modena. Across the line, it's going to be an absolute barnstorm on the lap in Modena. It is their fastest lap. Latest from Edith Cowan, a 1:03.99. That was one that was in the overtaking bay. They're on to their last lap now for their first stint. Birmingham still out there as well on their 20th lap. Their latest, a 1:11.61. the fastest of 102.32 from Birmingham. You can see all three cars on your screens now as Birmingham come past us in the commentary box and into the second slalom. Meanwhile, here's Edith Cowan on the final lap for driver number 1.
Oh, this is the nervous moment, Giles. I never like being on the radio for these moments because it always feels like it takes too long in the driver changeover.
Absolutely. Especially getting a restart on these internal combustion cars. No problems in that case for Birmingham. In and out like a fiddler's elbow. Absolutely spot on for Birmingham as they cross the line to complete their 20th lap with a time of 1:07.46. Almost sideways out of the final field there for Modena. The check flag out for Edith Cowan, and that is driver number 1 done for the Aussies.
Oh, you'd be very happy with that drive. There are a couple of cones there. I think the Modena driver is driving very fast and very clean. So they've definitely pipped us on that part of the endurance. But you know, at the end of this, if you have a close competition and you don't quite get the better of a team like Vizcaya or Modena, you can still go away home very happy with what you've done.
Absolutely. So 3 minutes to go then for Edith Cowan before we'll see them back out on track with Kian Butler behind the wheel. All being well, Birmingham left to contend with, as usual, a flying Italian side from Modena. Although I must say they do seem a little politer than previous years we've seen them. The Italian driving style can be rather passionate, shall we say. As into the overtaking bay come Birmingham and through go Modena. Squealing through the final corner, tail stepping out, maxing the power out on the exit with a time of 56.75, 0.6 of a second slower than their fastest. Modena with 11 laps completed, 12th in progress. Edith Cowan in for driver change. Birmingham underway with their 22nd lap, their 21st of 1:10.66, 8 seconds slower than their fastest, bearing in mind they also had to contend with being overtaken by Modena. Now notice as well the long silver air intake on the Modena car, and I really am impressed by that. They've taken the time with GT Power Suite to actually sit down and work out the geometry of the intake and the exhaust to maximise laminar airflow into the engine. It's incredibly complicated stuff, and they've done that remarkably well. One-dimensional simulations ensuring the maximum amount of airflow, laminar airflow I should say, into the engine. There's Birmingham on your screens now as Modena are a blur on the bottom edge of your screen. Through the hairpin goes Birmingham. The time for Modena are 56.69, still not their fastest, but onto the final lap for driver number 1 for Modena. Across the line come Birmingham with a time of 1:05.44, only 3 seconds shy of their fastest. 23rd lap now in progress for Birmingham. Here meanwhile is Modena, leading in Formula Student, challenged by the Australians. The Spaniards, Vizcaya, are out. And that's a real unfortunate moment. It was a 3-horse race. It's now down to a duel between the Italians and the Australians.
Well, of course, this is driver changeover for ECU still, and this is where I'm most nervous. We haven't heard it start up. It's a very distinctive single cylinder. Sounds like a very powerful lawnmower.
So updates on the teams that we have lost. So Malta went out with a lost drive shaft, and there was a BMS issue for Vermilion. Meanwhile, into the pit, of course, Modena with a time of 56.96. That is driver number 1 done for the Italians, leaving Birmingham out on track to complete endurance. The checkered flag is being prepared. I can see it waiting there for Birmingham. They've just got to finish these last few laps. Lap 24 now for Birmingham. 1:03.89 their latest. Their fastest of 1:02.32. Getting ever closer and getting ever faster. Edith Cowan back and ready to go. It's going to be a little salute there from Kian to the marshal, and away goes Kian Butler behind the wheel of ECU's entry into Formula Student 2026. They're going to need to pick up the pace a little, I can't help but think.
Yeah, we're banking on the fact that the other Modena driver might not be able to keep the same pace, and it does look like a very hairy car to drive, but you know, at the end of the day, we're just like any other team here and hoping just to finish endurance.
Completely understandably. I mean, the euphoria I felt when we finished it for the one time in 5 years of Formula Student I was with Cardiff was one of the greatest moments I've ever experienced, which may tell you about the rest of my life far too much. But anyway, Birmingham through the hairpin then. The last few laps for the team from Birmingham. Red 5 glinting in the Silverstone sun as they come across the line with a time of 1:04.15. 25th lap now, penultimate lap for Birmingham. Edith Cowan's first lap with Keegan behind the wheel. It's going to be a 55.4. It's their fastest and it's off the line. The competition is truly alive here at Silverstone for Formula Student 2026, quite possibly the closest we've ever seen at the top for the past several years. Birmingham on track right now on their penultimate lap, but they will have to contend with Kian from Australia on the charge for Edith Cowan, so keep an eye out for a blue flag, but bear in mind, of course, Birmingham are no slouches. They're pretty fast themselves, and they head through. There's no blue flag there. No, there is a blue flag, and they pull in. Birmingham pull in seamlessly. Edith Cowan flying through. The green flag shows that's how you do an overtake. That is gorgeous in its efficiency. Very little time lost by both teams. Birmingham on their way for their second to last lap, and Edith Cowan coming through to complete another one as well. I can hear them and I can see them now as they come across the line, getting very twitchy on the final corner for a time then of 55.52, a tenth of a second slower. The final lap then for Birmingham is underway. Their last lap was a 107.05. They just need to bring it home now, and that is exactly not what you want to see. Where's the power gone?
No, this is horrible to see. I mean, Birmingham's been having a really, really good comp. Hopefully there's enough left in the battery just to get one more lap.
An absolute shocker here, Jess. I can't believe this.
You were saying this earlier, the last corner, the last lap at one point, is they just started the final lap.
They're underway again! And
yes.
you can hear Birmingham, the euphoria erupting from the team. It's still on for the team from Birmingham. All they have to do is finish this lap, and they will be one of only 5 teams to have finished endurance. Can Birmingham get through? I sincerely hope so. Across the line, coming in Cowan this time with a 55.46. They are right on the apex of their performance capability, I suspect. Meanwhile, here's Birmingham into the fast section of the course.
So that's a fun.
Keeping it nice and calm and collected. I suspect they're running low on juice and they just need to eke it out, Jess, but it's not looking good.
It is not looking good at all. They just got to get on the power. The yellow flag will be waved shortly to allow more cars through, and that's just bad timing for Birmingham. They were looking so good up until this point, and it looks like they're going again. I think everybody here at Silverstone is probably wanting to cheer Birmingham on to say, come on, you could do this. They could be the 5th car to finish endurance through to in the last sector now. They just got to keep it conservative. I'm sure that the team will be saying, just bring it home, but they not the Tony this car. And oh my goodness, 2 goes, Kevin said in the commentary box. I have to say that was quite entertaining at least.
Meanwhile, the drama has reached the pinnacle for Birmingham, because here's the checkered flag. Car number 5 is the 5th car to finish endurance, and they scream with delight. They capture the cones and debris from ECU. They do not care. They rush like a torrent to the edge of the course to celebrate. A last lap of 205.63. They don't care. It's not the fastest, but who is in their right mind worrying about that from Birmingham? With a 41.57, they become only the 5th team to finish endurance, and it gives Edith Cowan an empty track to take the fight to Modena.
Oh, I don't know about an empty track. It looks like Kian's determined to put some cones on that track. If there's any chance that Kian could hear this at all, just calm down a little, mate.
Oh, he is on an absolute bender, and we are so near across the line. Edith Cowan with a 55.59, only 1/10 of a second slower than their fastest, determined to catch up to the rocket that was Modena. And talking of the rocket that is Modena, they are back out on track. This really is one for the ages, a duel between 2 titans of Formula Student, Australia and Italy, competing here on track at Silverstone, the home of British motorsport. Edith Cowan and Modena. Edith Cowan currently have completed 18 laps. They're 19th in progress, 55.59. And on to their second session now are Modena. Their 14th lap currently in progress. As through then goes Kian. Now this looks to be very, very quick, but also the cleanest we've seen from Kian so far. There have been a smattering of cones here and there through the Mansell meander. The tail stepping out. I just love the way that Kian can hold it sideways through these corners. Excellent stuff there from Kian through the final corner. Birmingham losing their minds as they finish endurance. They are over the moon, the 2nd year in concession consecutively that they've finished endurance, and that time there for Edith Cowan is a 55.45, right on the performance curve for that team. As away go Modena to complete their 14th lap with a time then of 1:00.60.
Well, I think Modena will be incredibly happy with that time. We were banking on two drivers being a little bit further apart than that. So I think Modena are driving straight into the win of not just this event, but probably the whole competition.
Bear in mind though, I've said earlier in the day that I think you guys have finished slightly higher in some of the static events than Modena, so it's the
I
static
don't
events
think
will
Modena
play
didn't
into
get to
it.
the final.
No, we've taken that into the calculations and looked at both best and worst case scenarios for the competition without the points out. And Modena have done the same as had Biscay. And Modena's sitting, the best that we could tell, 20 points clear prior to this event. And that's about 2 seconds a lap to get that in an endurance run.
How much do you think in efficiency?
There's conversations now. Dan Jones has joined us and he's talking about efficiency of Modena across the line.
Efficiency, that's a good question from Dan there. How much do we think there's in efficiency? We believe there's about 10-point advantage to us in efficiency.
Oh.
Now you can see why Kian really is leaving it all on the track, sideways through several corners to ensure maximum speed. Edith Cowan on their 21st lap, their 22nd was their 20th was their fastest, a 55.37. Meanwhile, Modena on their 16th lap, their 15th was a 101.53. And through sideways goes Kian through the corner with no name, and that is a monumental time from them. 55.43 right there. It's 22 laps now for Edith Cowan. 21 completed, 22nd in progress. Through the Bales hairpin goes Modena and into the Mansell meander. Watch the exit here. How much tail are they going to get? Absolutely none. Incredibly clean through there and onto the final corner across the line with a time of 1:00.12 for Modena. Their fastest, a 56.13. Edith Cowan's fastest, a 55.37. Their latest, a 55.43. 22nd lap in progress. Kian Butler behind the wheel. Can he get below 55 seconds is the question. They need to get as quickly around the track as possible, but as cleanly as possible as well. That 10 points advantage between the two powertrains is going to make all the difference here. 20 points in the lead. By ECU's calculations, are the team on your screen right now, Modena. Edith Cowan across the line with a 55.68 to complete 22 laps, 23rd in progress there. Modena on your screens right now as they come through the far section of the course, into the second slalom, out of the second slalom like it was nothing, and onto the hairpin they go. Here they come then through the Mansell meander. Not carrying a lot of speed. There it is. There's the speed I was anticipating. The back end stepping out as they come through that tight right-hander. And that's going to be a time from Modena of 59.67. 17 laps completed, 18th in progress. The speed then picking up for the Italians. I wonder whether someone signaled to them, get quicker, because here comes the challenge from Kian Butler and Edith Cowan. He knows what he needs to do, and he really is pushing it. Is the Australian side. Meanwhile, they come across the line then with a time of, drum roll please, 55.83, 23 laps down, 24th in progress. Modena, meanwhile, come through the harsh chicane, whilst another chicane has to be dealt with by ECU. A little twitch up on the right wheel into the air there with that solid rear axle, bouncing along through the hairpin, pushing it as hard as he can is Kian through the slalom now.
I think one of the things you'll notice, Giles, the lap times are very close, lap after lap. This car is built for consistency, and we're over the moon to be able to be doing what is the fastest lap times of the event, and doing it every single lap. So this is what we built the car for, exactly these conditions. And I'm going to let you in on a little secret. In amongst things that happened in autocross, we lost our hybrid system. So this car is now running with hybrid. So this is some of the pace that we were missing out yesterday during the autocross.
I just love the way that Kian drives. I'm such a fan. Do excuse me for fanboying. I can't. I think Jess is the exact same.
I was able to actually see one of his laps on Instagram, like the on-board shot, and it just looked impeccable.
It really does. Absolutely great stuff there. Meanwhile, Modena's latest time for you is a 58.83. 18 laps down, 19th in progress. Edith Cowan on their penultimate lap. Their latest a 55.92. Their fastest a 55.37. Across the line come Modena, very, very sideways. Nearly lost it, but holding it on for dear life, gripping into the white Insight there from Dan Jones, and it will come down to cone penalties as Edith Cowan head towards the end of their final lap, twitching through the chicane onto the far section of the course. They've got the not quite so straight, the two-cone slalom, the Welsh wiggle, and here comes the final hairpin, the Bales hairpin for Edith Cowan before the Mansell meander. Watch the exit on this. It's not quite sideways as it usually is. The final corner beckons across the line with a checkered flag. Edith Cowan finish endurance at Formula Student 2026 and take the lead with a 28.47.32.
Oh, look, we're really happy with that. I think the few cones that were hit on that Edith Cowan run, and I think the speed difference if the first driver is probably going to give it to Modena. But it's been great to see this and to be able to do that pace. The one thing that we wanted to do this time when we came is we wanted to make sure that we could show what the car could do. We didn't want to hold back at all. So we've given it our absolute best, and to go up against a team of the quality of Modena is fantastic.
It's been a real pleasure watching this, a real battle of the titans here at Formula Student. I mean, there's a cone gone there, so you may be in luck still. Really pushing it are Modena. That latest time, a 58.00. 21 laps complete for the Italians, 22nd in progress. Their fastest, a 56.13. But that final section of the course, they seem to be getting bolder and braver with it as they go. They nearly lost it a couple of laps ago on the exit of the final corner. Just reel it in just a little bit if I were the Italians.
I just don't think they need to do this. I think they've actually got this. If they can finish this off, there's only 5 more laps to complete. I think they've got enough pace. I think had ECU run clean, it may have been a different story, but I think they've got the edge. They have built that up. They have done so well in all of the dynamic events. They've done really well in the static events as well. I think all of those 3 teams, we expected it was going to be a hard fight, and it has been a hard fight. But I think they've just done the job. They're an amazing team.
They really have, and they carry on doing the job, completing the 22nd lap with a 59.95. It was a little slower, certainly a lot cleaner and less dramatic through those final sections. No torque, there's still a twitch of torque steer on the exit of the bus stop. Italian by name and Italian by nature, they really do not want to take it easy towards the end of this stint. It's all or nothing for Modena, as all eyes turn to the 2023 champions. Can they make themselves time champions here at Silverstone as the final laps come to a close for the Italians? Through the chicane they go, and on to the high-speed section of the not quite so straight, into the second slalom, and on to what's been dubbed the Welsh wiggle before the Bales hairpin and the Mansell meander. Now to see how they arrive out of the Mansell meander, they shed a lot of speed on the exit there, and into the final corner, not quite sideways through there, very clean into turn that has no name, turn 1 and turn 2 now, very sideways on the exit of turn 2. Their latest time then, a 59.47, 24th lap in progress, 23 complete for Modena.
Well, I'm going to pass this back because I'm going to go and congratulate my team, guys.
Absolutely.
It's been great to be in here. Thanks for hosting us, and maybe come down and do some commentating in Australia.
I would absolutely love that. It's been a real pleasure, Kevin. Thank you so much. You have a great day. Enjoy yourself. Jess, it really
I'm
is
back.
How are you?
I've just been enjoying yours and Kevin's and Dan's commentary, Giles, with all what Edith Cowan were doing. I was going to go and explore, but I was just enjoying the racing out there on track so much. It was just nice just to have a sit back and watch the drama unfold. But Modena looking quite quick.
They really are looking quick as they come through the final throws of this lap and across the line, twitching ever so slightly right on the limit of this car's capability. They really are pushing themselves. Are the team from Modena with a time of 59.13. They are now on their penultimate lap. Are the Italians. Through the chicane they go, and it looks like it's going to Italy once more. They may not have got the World Cup, but they've got the next best thing. They've got Formula Student.
Yes, and with Formula Student, if you do well in Formula Student, you're going to get recognised. And I hope we will see them back in a few years' time again if they do ever compete in Formula Student once more. It seems to me they're much cleaner than what we saw in 2023.
Yes,
so they're going to get some extra points.
Well, there's no black flags for a start, Jess.
No. It seems to be they've been clean throughout, which is really great to see. I think they've been the only event that they have. Wow! The only event that they've not topped was skid pad. They've topped everything else.
Absolutely monumental from the Italians, sliding out to the exit of the Bales hairpin and into their final lap they go. The Italians on an absolute send. You can see them on your screens there, watching on from the embankment at Copse Corner. Only a few corners to go between Modena and Formula Student Glory. Completion of endurance, the time to beat provisionally without cones of 28.47.32 as set by the Australians of Edith Cowan. Here they come through the slalom then, the power on as they head through the high speed section of the course. Now this upcoming chicane usually slows drivers down, but no trouble whatsoever for Modena as they fly down through the not quite straight onto the second slalom they come, make sure to stay in between the cones. They have done. The checker flag is ready. Through the Welsh wiggle and onto the Bales hairpin they come. No trouble through there. The final mental meander of this session, perfectly aligned through there. The checker flag is waved and across the line go Modena with a time of 20.
What? 30.53. They're second. They haven't beaten Edith Cowan.
Wow.
Shocked.
I was whoa. But
I'm shocked about that.
I was not anticipating that in the slightest.
This could get close.
There will be cones added, but is it enough cones? The time for Edith Cowan, 28.47.32 without cones. The time for Modena, 30.53.95 without cones. Both teams caught cones.
You don't know how many.
Modena, from what we could see, a lot less than Edith Cowan. So as much as Kevin may have been writing themselves off at ECU and suggesting it's gone the way of the Italians, it's not over yet.
I think it's going to heat up between the pair of them on who we think is going to do well. Dan, what did you just think of that, watching that?
It's fantastic seeing the competition between the two teams. The thing you have to remember in the raw time is it's not got the unadjusted driver change time as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, it can be misleading. We really need the results guys count all the cones and turn that into the final results. But it's going to be close.
Incredibly close here at Silverstone for Formula Student 2026. Quite possibly the closest we've seen it. Now, a couple of years ago in 2024, the gap between second and third was under 5 points. I think we could be on for a very similar finish in this case, right at the top for the overall winner of Formula Student between the car you can see on your screens there, Modena, and the team from Australia, Edith Cowan, as Dan Jones signs one of the IMEC shirts bearing his catchphrase, read the rules. Last year that we're going to have Dan as chief judge here at Formula Student. A crying shame, he's moving on to pastures new in Germany, and we really are going to miss him. Hopefully you'll be back for more Formula Student, potentially just not as chief judge.
I'll be back, just not in an official capacity. It's going to be like this today. Is the first time I've actually had time to see some cars out on track. So I'll be back in future years, just not in an official capacity. It'd be nice to actually have much less to do, get around, talk to see more of the cars, and be a lot more relaxed than I generally am over the last 4 days.
I can imagine, and I imagine it'll be a lot of fun. It's been a real pleasure working alongside you, Dan. Really, thank you so much.
Thank you, Dan.
Likewise to both of you. I'll leave you in peace. Thank you very much.
Cheers, Dan. And don't forget, of course, you too can own one of these shirts from the IMEC emblazoned with Dan's face. You can see us in the commentary box wearing them if you're on the Cops embankment. It says, Dan says, read the rules. So if you fancy one of these t-shirts, then you can grab them from the IMEC. There are Modena. We wouldn't like to call it because the times haven't been adjusted. These are all provisional. You've got to counter in, as Dan was saying, the driver change as well as the cones.
And we can't call it yet who the winner is because we got session 3 still to go with potentially 5 or more teams that are going to be competing.
By my maths, it's approximately 2 minutes between Modena and Edith Cowan. 2 minutes 6 seconds, 1 minute 54, thereabouts between the two. The applause erupting at Cops for Modena after a sterling drive. The gap between the two is approximately 2 minutes, and therefore, therein lies the gap. When that's adjusted, that will determine who the winner of Formula Student 2026 is. 20 points between Modena and Edith Cowan, 10 points difference likely in efficiency. So it's all to play for. Make sure you tune in tonight to the awards presentation because we truly do not know who's going to take it.
With the fantastic trio, of course, of Dan Jones, Monty, and Cheryl. So you could catch it on YouTube with those three as your hosts. So it was good to watch with those three last night. It was quite funny actually, but it was a very entertaining award ceremony. Meanwhile, we got quite a few people in the queue for session 3. On the first of the queue is the University of Southampton. Now, as a reminder, for those of you that weren't watching the first session, Southampton were meant to be running in the first session. Couldn't quite do so because they had to change a few things on their car. Now they're here. They are going to get an out of order penalty, but they are still allowed to complete endurance because they haven't started it. So they're first in the queue. We also got Nottingham. We also got Strathclyde, we also got Cambridge in there as well. We got Swansea, we got quite a few other teams that probably we haven't seen. I've asked Monty to see if there was anyone else in the queue, so hopefully we'll find out more. But those are the teams that we know of.
Yes.
And BCU as well.
Yes, indeed. But I now have to turn our attention to a matter of national importance.
Oh.
Because Miss Mayor Pumpkin has commented, Giles and Jess, can you ask the photographer at the start line with amazing hair, I have to say it, amazing, because it's in capitals, with amazing hair, what shampoo he uses? It's of national importance. Hashtag shout out to Media25.
Or is it Media 26?
One or the other, whoever's got the long hair that looks amazing, what shampoo do you use? Apparently it's a matter of it might be a matter of national importance in Jersey, but there's not a lot that goes on in Jersey that would be of national importance.
Yeah. And I want to say massive shout out to the media guys who have been taking some lovely photos, which you can catch out on the former students Flickr account. And
yes.
Yeah, so they've been busy all weekend capturing lovely pictures and videos, so make sure you check them out as well. And of course, the ones who have just finished endurance, it's not over. They'll have to get their cars post-scrutineered to make their times official. We saw that with Glasgow Caledonian. They were successful earlier on. We got to see it with the other teams. So the ones that have successfully completed endurance are as follows. Glasgow Caledonian. Well, let's run you through the order actually. Get it, Giles.
Here we go. Lancashire finishing with a time of 44.21.36. Please bear in mind these times are all provisional, not official at all. They haven't taken into account the driver change or the current penalties. Birmingham in 6th with a 41.57.
Minus 7 minutes, don't forget.
Yes, minus 7 minutes, so they will get a lot faster with Birmingham there. Meanwhile, Glasgow Caledonian with a 40.13.96. Meanwhile, we've got Warwick with a 37.28.78. Staffordshire with a 34.0707, Modena a 30.53.95, and Edith Carroll with a 28.47.32. Those are your teams to finish endurance so far today, and the session on its way very, very soon. Right now, we're going to get some more information and more details.
Hey!
Okie dokie. Tell you what, I need to sit down. That was so dramatic.
And it was good to have Kevin now. He was so good.
Yeah, sorry.
There's James. The engineering.
Sorry to take the mic off you with all of that.
No. I was enjoying that, to be honest. I was enjoying that.
Yeah, just so hot. So hot.
There's no fan in there.
It's Rachel about from the. In fact, I think Rachel was there. Just have a quick
I'm
moment.
told to tell you that Head and Shoulders is the correct shampoo.
Right, thank
Sorry.
you. Remember that. I just wanna...
I thought Modena was faster, actually.
Yes, so did I. I was a bit
They
confused.
looked so much faster.
That's why I went to say 20 and they were 30. I was like, what?
Yeah, I thought Modena were doing like sub 56, like 50 per hour. But maybe that's maybe ECU second driver.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Even best laps. Even currently the best lap.
Yeah, 55.37. Yeah.
Pardon me.
probably going to head off soon. So. Charles,
You off, mate?
I'm going to head off. Sorry.
Let me know, buddy. Catch you later.
Yeah. Good to see you, Jess.
Good to see you too.
Yeah. See you soon.
Do you need longer or you... No need for a break after the VT, we can carry on. Yeah, we could carry on after this VT. Copy.
Cheers.
They've passed statics, they haven't done EV though yet. As in statics experience.
Well, I can inform you right now, I'm not wearing a kilt the proper Scottish way or otherwise. Although, having said that, it's that hot, I wouldn't mind if I was. It's really warm in the commentary box, and things are about to get even hotter as we see some teams we were expecting earlier in the day heading out on track at Silverstone, and that, I believe, Jess,
It's
is
Southampton.
Southampton, it is indeed.
Southampton were having trouble yesterday. I don't think they completed it. I think they only completed one lap of sprint, and that was it. But they are going to get out of run penalty. But let's hope they could. That looks a lot faster than yesterday.
It really does. It really does. And the team are cheering. They're over the moon with that. And we are underway once more for Endurance at Formula Student 2026. If you've just joined us, I'm Giles, she's Jess, and we're coming to you live from the hive of British Motorsport here at Silverstone for Formula Student 2026. That car looks to be running to a halt, Jess. It looks suddenly slower than it did initially.
No. It's all good.
It looks back on the power.
They must be nearly on the brakes.
The answer to the question regarding shampoo is apparently Head and Shoulders. Other brands are available, but the answer is Head and Shoulders. Headed through the fast part of the course, that momentary loss of power into the hairpin may have been the driver being a little bit conservative. Obviously, you really do have to shed the power into Brutus Maximus, hence why it's called Brutus Maximus, because it's brutal on entry. So I would suggest that may be why, because this is looking very good indeed from Southampton.
Yes, I think Southampton were running a lot slower than that yesterday. I think they're a bit more consistent today. And of course, they're an EV car. They're a really fan favourite of us, the Formula Student Sim Racing Series, because of course they won the Sim Racing Championships 2025, 2026, and they of course got their trophy yesterday. Southampton's first lap time of 109.53. That's respectable considering it's their first proper lap time of this competition.
And they're looking even faster through the first couple of corners and into the first chicane on the approach to Brutus Maximus. They haven't slowed down nearly as much into that hairpin. Very nice stuff indeed from Southampton. A quick couple of shout outs to do. Eunice Duluk asks, Giles and Jess, will Kingston University be next? We don't know. Well, I will say, I really like Kingston's livery. Really
I love Kingston's livery. I have messaged Monty to see if he can see who's in the queue currently that we are unaware of. So hopefully we'll see Kingston.
Simeon says, Giles and Jess, could you please give a shout out to Kirsty Kumacharia? It's her birthday today. Happy birthday, Kirsty. There was a bit of a cone problem for a moment there for Southampton. They're back underway. Yet again, cones being butchered here at Silverstone. We saw it a lot yesterday. Warwick and Staffordshire were the prime culprits in that instance, but on this occasion, it looks like Southampton is executing the exit there as they come to complete another lap. Across the line they come, and it's going to be a time of 1:14.36. 2 laps down, third in progress for
I
Southampton.
thought that looked faster then.
I can't lie, so did I, but there we are. Maybe it did look faster until they hit the cone and they stopped for a moment.
Oh yeah, they did. That explains that then for Southampton.
As they come through the hairpin and on into the slalom. Looking very planted, I must say. There's no chance of this car rolling over. It's a very nice setup, and it is that classic Formula Student design, rear-mounted power unit at the top, electric power in this case for South, who do suddenly seem to be going a little bit slower for a moment through the chicane there, but they're back immediately on the power. Braking there just quickly as they come past the commentary box into the second slalom and onto the Welsh wiggle before they arrive at the Bales hairpin. Through the Bales hairpin they go and into the Mansell meander. Ever so slightly twitchy, but far less so than on previous occasions. Through the final corner and across the line. The time, Jess?
The time is it's taking a while to update. 108.36. That's more like it.
That is indeed more like it then. From Southampton, who have completed now 3 laps, 4th in progress. As they head through the chicane and on to Brutus Maximus. After Brutus Maximus they come and on to, now this slalom, do bear in mind with this slalom, the cones get closer together by a metre with each increment, so it's not as simple as guiding it through the exact same every time. You've got to be more and more precise as you go. It's like threading the needle.
This is the bit where they're going slower, Giles, than the previous lap because they just don't want to hit any cones and they want to make it through, because that's why we see people stop before. So I think there were some moments where they're just keeping it cautious, and I like the sound of that EV there from Southampton. It looks well much better than what we saw yesterday. That noise looks incredible from that EV.
So it's looking good there from Southampton. They've nailed that on the exit of the
That
battle.
slide as
And
well.
away they go. Yeah, this is looking like a planted car. They crossed the line then with a time of 109.18. 4 laps complete, 5th in progress, 13 to do for this driver before the driver swap. Waiting in the wings are several other cars.
Nottingham.
Nottingham indeed. Looking forward to that one, I must say. Cambridge are there as well. We know Cambridge had problems earlier, and we don't know exactly what they were. The driver was telling me yesterday that the slightly slower pace than you might anticipate from Cambridge was a case of the driver having never driven the car before, and this was live testing in the case of Cambridge.
That's what I gathered, because we could see when we were at the sprint that they were just getting quicker and quicker each lap. More comments coming in at the live chat, and Miss Mary Pumpkin is saying thank you for the hair shampoo updates.
Recommendation.
Yeah, the recommendation.
Not that I need it, put it that way.
But I mean, Miss Mary Pumpkin may, you know, I might use it as well potentially. But here comes Southampton to complete their next lap. They've done 4 laps so far. Lap number 5 then for Southampton. What's it going to be? It's going to be a 103.46.
The driver clearly getting more comfortable with this car on track. It's perfect conditions for driving, if not a little bit hot. We're beginning to feel it here in the commentary box. It's 3 o'clock here at Silverstone. And through the slalom go Southampton. Now they have ditched the aero. I thought Southampton were running aero. So
well, they had to get. I think the reason why they may have not won in session 1 is probably they ditched their aero and they had to get it re-scrutineered.
I think it might well have been Jess. They come past us on the other side of the course here at Silverstone, through the Welsh wiggle and on to the Mansell meander, the Bales hairpin in between them, of course. Slightly off the power there, suddenly slowing down on the entrance to the Mansell meander. As they get back on the power, do Southampton. Car number 10 coming across the line to complete their 6th lap with a time of 105.42. 6 laps down, 7th in progress, almost halfway then for this driver from Southampton. The first stint in progress for the team.
You have Cambridge in the queue, and the reason why they've been put ahead of Nottingham was because, of course, they were meant to be in the first session.
That would explain why then, and here we are, Cambridge lining up and ready to go. We're hoping potentially for more than 5 cars in session 3. It depends on how things progress. We were a little bit ahead of schedule, I believe, and away then go Cambridge with a tentative start, but you would be if you were behind the wheel of not just a car, but several team members' hopes and dreams. And with limited experience, I can relate. There's a VT knocking about somewhere of me trying to drive the Cardiff car a few years ago, and suffice to say, there's a reason I'm here talking to you and not behind the wheel of one of these things. As through the chicane goes, it's a slightly wide track width there for Cambridge. Not to mention the view over the top might be a little obscure, but I was talking about it yesterday with Sam in the comments, Sam Collins, and I just had to wonder how much of a view the driver has out over the top of those two shocks that you can see on the top of the car there. It's quite a high bonnet, if you can call it a bonnet, and it's a very low driving position, so I'm not 100% sure about the visibility for this driver, especially with limited experience. Meanwhile, to update you, Southampton are onto their 8th lap, their 7th lap is a 105.64. Their fastest is, of course, a 103.46. Now, someone somewhere has found a megaphone.
That is Monty telling the spectators what time they need to leave.
Wonderful. We would be able to tell the spectators ourselves, but unfortunately not all the channels are working. But anyway, there's the cone drifting away. I suspect Cambridge have clipped a cone with their rear wheel there, and they come across the line to complete their first lap of endurance. Do Cambridge with a time then of
a 131.21.
131.24 for Cambridge. Across the line to complete lap number 8 for Southampton with a 108.41. Southampton cheering with delight for their team, as Cambridge are going to have to contend with an overtake. Southampton are on the approach and are lapping a good 20 seconds faster. So that blue flag will be waved, and they are going to have to negotiate an overtake, which is a pretty nervy moment for any Formula student driver. And Cambridge come on through. You can see in the background of your screens there, Southampton on the charge by comparison. I've got to say though, it's reminding me distinctly, there's another cone gone off the rear right wheel of the Cambridge car, but the Cambridge car reminds me a lot of those classic 60s Formula 1 cars, Jess. I really do like it.
I really do like it as well, and the fact that they're able to produce a car of that intricate design, that's going to get some attention from some Formula 1 teams. I could definitely tell you that. I think I'm almost certain a certain few people may be eyeing a job in Formula 1 very, very soon, but Southampton are about to finish lap number 9 then, as they come across the line, a 105.93, consistent for Southampton. Cambridge are about to finish lap number 2, and that time is for Cambridge is a 1. That looks very comfortable, 125.61.
Nicely done there for Cambridge. Southampton continue on to their 10th lap, whilst Cambridge are in the throes of their 3rd lap. Meanwhile, apparently, Kingston Uni is coming, according to...
I looked at FS stats, they passed scrutineering.
Uni Stullock says that, so thank you very much to Uni Stullock. DKN asking how much endurance is left, but says you can't listen to the commentary. It's a shame, we wish you could.
It finishes at 4:30. Because of course the award ceremony is starting earlier today with a few awards, so everyone, including ourselves, could go and watch the World Cup final.
Go on, Spain. Anyway, Southampton coming across the line to complete another lap, and that will be their 10th to complete, with a time of 103.16, which I suspect is their fastest. It is indeed their fastest. They go into 9th furthest distance complete in endurance for Southampton. Cambridge on the way to complete their 3rd lap. Meanwhile, UE are torturing one of their team members, having nicked their shoe, and they're throwing it around the embankment at Cox Corner. If you hear the cheers behind us, that's what's going on there. As Cambridge come across the line with a time of 121.85. 3 laps down, 4th in progress for Cambridge.
This is looking very tidy so far for Cambridge. I think they're going probably at a similar speed to what we saw Lancashire do earlier on, and Lancashire completed endurance. For most of these teams, if they finish, they're going to be in the top 10 in endurance, and more than likely, if they don't well in statics, they're going to finish very well overall. Southampton going through the final sector, through into the Mantle Meander for the 11th time. Up to the line goes Southampton. It looks like a faster lap time than what they did previously, of 106.95, just a few seconds slower, but it's just driver 1 bringing the car home ready for driver 2 to swap in any moment. Meanwhile, we've got Cambridge going through to finish their next lap very, very shortly as well. I can't wait to see which other teams are going to be in that queue, and will they be able to get their car through endurance without any testing? Which I think is going to be quite interesting.
Meanwhile, we've been joined by possibly every team's worst nightmare, purely because he's in a green shirt, so he's a scrutineer. But he's also one of my favourite people from my days back in Cardiff. Hugh, how are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. I hope I'm not everyone's worst nightmare. I'm trying my best to get a lot of the teams through as I can this year.
And how has it been over in scrutineering? Strathclyde have just entered the fray, I should add, but how has it been over in scrutineering?
It's been good. I've really enjoyed it this year. It's been a much better attitude than previous times. I think the teams are really getting their groove of working out how it needs to work and properly listening and trying to come up with solutions to make sure their car is safe. And we're trying to do a really good job this year of getting as many cars out.
Have there been any teams that have really caught your eye in the scrutineering bay that you thought they deserve a bit of recognition?
I think Modern's car was incredibly clean. Same Uni of Birmingham, that's a very clean car. But there's a lot of other teams who I've been really impressed by. The one on track right now, Cambridge, I think they've been fantastic. They've been really, really pleasure to work with in scrutineering. Always happy to listen to advice, and been really great for just actually making sure that their car is safe and they want to be out, and they've managed it, and I'm really chuffed with that, and just seeing how far they come from last year.
Excellent stuff there for Cambridge as they come across the line and work very, very hard alongside the scrutineers to make sure their car passes scrutineering, and their latest time is a 1:15 dead, 5 laps complete, 6th in progress. It's their fastest lap. Strathclyde come across the line to complete their first lap with a 114.99. Meanwhile,
Southampton have finished their driver 1 run.
Southampton into the pits for their driver change, and that is just great to see. Strathclyde out there, got a lot of love for Strathclyde, family history with their campus, weirdly enough, as Cambridge carry on their way. And Hugh, your advice quickly to any teams that weren't able to get through scrutineering this year and are so desperate to get out on track, what would you say to them?
I think the big thing is just keep it simple. Make sure you are just covering the rules for whatever area of the car that you're trying to work on, and just try and understand the intention behind what that rule really means. That's, I think, the most important part that I think some people fall over when they're not quite understanding what the words mean. Try and think about, or just ask, what is this rule actually for? That normally is the best way to work out how to make sure that it's going to be safe and able to run on track.
Fantastic stuff. Words to live by if you're trying to get a car through scrutineering. Hugh, thank you ever so much. Really great to see you.
No, thank you guys. It's a pretty pleasure being in the box and seeing you guys again as always.
Excellent stuff. I'll tell you what, if your good lady Rachel wants to come by later to offer advice for business, she'd be more than welcome to do so.
Oh, absolutely.
Wonderful stuff. Meanwhile, out on track right now, we've got 3 cars. We've got Southampton in the pit, but they're technically still running. They're in the middle of their driver swap. You can see Cambridge on your screens there. They've just knocked one of the slalom cones flying. But they are increasing their pace. Their latest time was a 1:14.44, which is their fastest time. 6 laps down, 7th in progress for Cambridge. Halfway through their run, Southampton in the pit. Strathclyde are out, 2 laps down, 3rd in progress. Their latest a 1:08.96.
And we got one other team, a team I think we were both wanted to see in the commentary box, University of Nottingham. This is the furthest that they have gone over the last few years here at Formula Student, and their goal was just to make it into at least one dynamic event, and they've achieved that.
They've made it into the dynamic event, Jess.
But they stopped.
In the dynamic event, quite quickly in fact, in the first couple of corners, and that is Nottingham struggling right here at Cops Corner. They just got running and they're back under power again. Bit of a weird one, Jess. Technically, I'm actually a University of Nottingham student.
Are you?
Yeah, weirdly enough, my PhD means I'm actually a member of Cardiff Uni, Sheffield Uni, and University of Nottingham.
How does that work?
And it's called a Centre for Doctoral Training. It's a very weird thing, but big shout out to Claudia Matz and Robin Irons. Meanwhile, there's a whole queue of cars now behind the Nottingham car.
It's like the M25 all over again.
It really is. Throw back to 2023 a few years ago, and we had something similar. as Nottingham are lapping very slowly. It's holding up both Cambridge and Strathclyde. This will affect their lap times, but this is what happens when you run in the free-for-all that is session 3, waiting for that overtaking bay. The thing is, Nottingham are still under power, so there's no reason to move them off the track, but unfortunately, they are also lapping very slowly. We have seen it in previous years. NCME, who apparently, I think, may be making an attempt to get out on track later, but NCME...
Quite a few teams are waiting in the queue, but we have until 4:30.
NCME in previous years were lapping incredibly slowly and ended up being meatball flagged as a result of that, and I wonder how long Nottingham can continue at this pace before they get flagged into the pits as well. They're being blue flagged into the overtaking bay right now as Cambridge and Strathclyde come through, but this won't be tenable for a long duration because, of course, they will come back round again, will Cambridge and Strathclyde, as Southampton rejoin the fray to the sheer delight of their team members. They're back out on track now, are Southampton, on their 14th lap, flags waving them.
Oh, I just saw, I think Strathclyde hit a little bit of Cambridge there at the moment as they were going through the blue flags. That was a close call between the two of them, but Strathclyde looks to have their cars being very reliable at the moment, and well, of course, they got held up by the blue flags. 1:52 was their last time. Their best times are 1:08.96. Nottingham, I think they just want to get their car to finish endurance. I think we've seen cars go slower than that in the past few years, but not that much slower than that. It's an achievement to even get to this point, and the whole team will be cheering them on. Even just getting on track will be an achievement for them on the last day. They would like to make it to more dynamic events next year, I bet. Southampton, luckily, have got a clear track in the final set to contend with.
Good stuff there for Southampton. On your screens right now is Nottingham, who are out on track, but potentially not as fast as they would have wanted. Strathclyde, though, we've been waiting to see them all day, and they are lapping very quickly, as are Southampton, as they come across the line for the first lap. The driver number 2 from Southampton with a time of 1:15.94. 14 laps completed, 15th underway for the team from Southampton, but they will have to contend with that traffic of Nottingham, and Cambridge are stuck on track, Jess.
Oh,
I think that's in one of the chicanes, and there's a yellow flag out.
I don't think there's anything on dash.
Yeah, very little readout on the dash that we can tell you. So at the moment, Cambridge blocking the course, and of course Nottingham lapping very slowly, which is going to make life difficult for Strathclyde and Southampton.
Yes, it is a shame. They looked very reliable yesterday. We were hoping that they were going to go through yesterday, but we got the stricken car of Cambridge, and we got 2 cars that are going to try and get past, including a slow Nottingham. It's going to be more like a traffic jam once again. We've got 4 cars out on circuit at the same time, and at this point the marshal will be trying to tell the the driver on what to do for Cambridge, as through goes car 115 as they make their way through.
Strathclyde shaking his head. And
they're slowing down, Giles.
Yeah, Strathclyde struggling with the power unit, a shake of the head from the driver looking to the wheels. Meanwhile, a conversation between the marshals and Cambridge. And there's blue flags out for one of the teams. I suspect Nottingham to pull in to let Southampton through, but Strathclyde are looking suddenly very low on power, and Cambridge have got none at all. The Southampton cheer once more for their second driver coming across the line to complete lap number 15 with a 1:35.80, held up significantly by several other teams on track. Nottingham lapping slowly, Cambridge have stopped altogether, and Strathclyde are struggling.
Well, I think so for Southampton. They're not going to care that they're going to get held up at this point, because they're doing a lot better than all the other teams that we're seeing out there on circuit.
Strathclyde are crawling. Strathclyde are crawling.
The red light is still on though.
This is beginning to feel like deja vu. Do you remember the days when we were commentating on endurance with Strathclyde and they kept hitting the stop button?
Yes. Could that be the same thing?
No, because it's still going.
No, they're going back. They're going into the
pits. Whether that'll be a retirement or not, we'll have to confirm later. Yellow flags out for the stricken Cambridge car as Southampton manoeuvre around it with a new course set up by the marshals, so that won't be an off-track. Meanwhile, somewhere out there is also Nottingham. I'm not quite sure what, but it does look to be a retirement for Strathclyde, which is really gutting for them. The driver's shaking their head significantly as the power dropped away there. Southampton, though, looking very good indeed. If they can just keep on the power, they will get through endurance. Their latest time coming at you very shortly as they cross the line. and that is Southampton with a 16th lap complete and a time of 1:10.78. The team you can see on your screens there cheering on their driver, the second driver for Southampton. 2 cars now out on track, Cambridge being wheeled away then. The yellow flag still waving as they move it into a safe position. Nottingham still lapping, but very, very slowly indeed. And eventually Southampton will have to contend with an overtake there, but not for a while. Where are Nottingham? They must be somewhere close to us, I should suspect.
Yeah,
Here
they go
come
final
now,
few corners.
through the Mansell meander and onto the final couple of corners, but I'm not sure how tenable this pace is for long durations and whether they'll be allowed to continue. As away goes the University of Greater Manchester NCME, who are struggling to find a gear. They've got a gear, they're away, but for a second I thought all of a sudden, not of all people, University of Nottingham was going to get held up.
Yeah, I think we did see Greater Manchester yesterday, didn't we? But they didn't complete a lap. I think they stopped for a moment towards the hairpin, like we saw quite a few teams, and that was them out. So great to see them back again, just like we see with Southampton. And Southampton are looking so good, are they? Just having a reliable car is better than outright pace for Southampton right now. You definitely can see they work to the night and all day to try and get it fixed. They are determined students.
So you are looking good as well. Is NCME, and this is the most evolved car we've seen from them. Years ago, they ran a rubber drive belt, and not to mention, of course, a very large wheel set, and it was incredibly slow as a result. But this has been evolving over the past couple of years, and it's very, very nippy. Look at this from NCME.
I think I like the way the driver is driving that the full commitment from the MCME racing car. Again, a lot faster than yesterday.
And into the overtaking bay. I wonder whether that was perhaps a mistake because they're not familiar with the course. I'm not sure whether they'll be penalised for that. I don't expect so.
I hope not.
It's not the fastest line on the course, but they posted a time there of 1:22.86, 1 lap down for University of Greater Manchester, NCME. Formerly known as Bolton, if you're familiar with Formula Student. Nottingham stopping briefly in the overtaking bay, but they've got going again. I want their green flags away, so I imagine that's to let Southampton through. Southampton are so quick compared to Nottingham that Southampton are coming past us in the commentary box, while Nottingham have only just got going. And that is another time then on the board for Southampton. 18 laps complete with a 1:22.22, their latest. 19th lap in progress. On your screens now is NCME, looking the most competent and fast car that we've seen from them in a while, Jess.
Yeah, which is always great to see. Of course, they have to have a new Formula Student car every year. They can't have the same car year in and year out. It seems to me it's handled a lot better. And as we saw with one of the scrutineers as well, you can tell MCME have listened to what they need to do to improve the car to get it on the track today. So I'm almost certain they have to get it re-scrutineered earlier on today as they go up to line for the complete. Their next lap, their second lap completed, is going to be a 1:10.54. That definitely looks quicker. Its driver really glued into this circuit, Giles.
Absolutely, this is looking very good indeed for some of these teams that are out on track. And bear in mind, those running in this session will actually get points. Those running out of order that should have been here with us earlier, like Southampton, will have a deficit applied. But
We don't know if you forgot how much.
there are still points up for grabs. Nottingham, meanwhile, you can see them on your screens here. They will have to pull in for Southampton, and Southampton are just going to have to bide their time until they can get past. There was a big clunk there. I hope that was just some pedestrians locking into a bearing rather than anything on track, as yeah, Southampton do have to be patient. In fact, is that Southampton? No, it's not. It's NCME.
They look similar, don't
They
they?
look dramatically similar to the cars from the University of Greater Manchester and the University of Southampton. NCME back under power and pushing it along now. Meanwhile, Southampton are ahead of all of the other drivers as NCME come across the line to complete another time. The University of Manchester are out on track now. So that's Southampton with their 19th lap completed, 1:04.85. 20th lap underway. NCME 3 laps down, 4th in progress, a 1:14.86 is their latest. And Manchester are out on track. Nottingham 1:39.47, 5 laps down, 6th in progress. Manchester, Jess, what do you reckon?
I'm keeping my fingers crossed on this one. At least when they were in the overtaking bay this time, they were able to get the car restarted. But what we saw yesterday, as soon as they got tried to get the car restarted, they couldn't do it. I think they only did like a few. I don't think they did any lap yesterday, so it's a much better achievement. We heard from Cheryl and the team from Manchester earlier on today in the VT. They were the first team to pass scrutineering on Thursday. They did decent in acceleration, but didn't quite do so well in sprint. They did quite decent in skip pad too. Endurance is going to be the main test for them. They're probably just going to try and finish endurance because, of course, the main reason why they're probably running slowly as well is a lot of these drivers, they're competing in dynamic events for the very first time.
Yes, indeed. As NCME bring it across the line, they're finding more and more pace as this car from Greater Manchester. A 109 dead. Their fourth lap complete. Fifth in progress. Bit of a Manchester derby shaping up here in session 3 of endurance. A Formula student Southampton, meanwhile, coming across the line to complete their 21st lap. 20 seconds now in progress with a 1:14.01. Meanwhile, Manchester have stopped on track, unfortunately, in the overtaking bay, but things don't look good. It was struggling with its gear changes, as far as I could tell, Jess. So
it didn't. It still didn't look as good as the other cars that had their cars re-scrutineered.
Oh no, driver distraught with that, banging his hands on the steering wheel, and I can sympathise to say that at least he broke a toe kicking an Armco in frustration when Cardiff went out in 2021. It just means so much to these teams. Blood, sweat, tears, and months, if not years, of hard work to get to this point. And it all comes down to these laps. And I'm heartbroken then for Manchester, who've been a real great addition to the paddock and great addition to the dynamic events here. NCME, their Manchester compatriots, coming past now.
That's a cone. That was a cone for Greater Manchester, but they're not going to matter in the slightest. We've got Greater Manchester up to the line to complete their next lap, which was a 1:15.08. Of course, they got hindered quite a bit from quite a few cars, and I think the driver is going to the marshals from Manchester for what to do here. That this doesn't look healthy for Manchester, unfortunately. We could see them out before it's even begun.
Not even a lap completed for Manchester Stinger. They're out, and they're just trying to get the car into gear to roll it away. And I suspect it's transmission problems that have ended their run prematurely. We could see them struggling with the gear change on the other side of the course. Meanwhile, then, we've got Nottingham backing up NCME into Southampton, which is what NCME and Southampton will not want, because their times will increase as a result of it. And now Nottingham getting out of the way. But now, of course, Southampton have to contend with NCME. Who's faster here? Two cars lapping. Oh, and a big spin off the line then for Nottingham. They were pulling out of the overtaking bay, put the power down, and they overcooked it. And they're facing now the wrong way. They've got to get the car underway and get it going once more. Not losing a lot of pace here, to be honest. NCME then holding up Southampton. Southampton picking the quicker car of the two here on the front runners of session 3. NCME will be looking for an overtaking bay, an opportunity to let. And there's a red flag. There's a red flag out, and the session has been red flagged.
I think similar position to what we saw from Million earlier. They'll probably want to get the car back into the pits.
Both NCME and Southampton bringing their cars to a stop. Nottingham doing the same, having recovered from that spin, but the Manchester car seemingly in an awkward position, and they're going to have to red flag the session in order to recover it. As they send out some of the volunteers, I think that might be Robin and, of course, our London Marathon runner, Mike Mansell, who has been spending the whole weekend pushing and pulling cars left, right and centre in training for the marathon. Meanwhile, Nottingham are creeping along gingerly. I wonder whether they're supposed to. I can't tell whether they're supposed to stop. I was under the impression they had to stop for a red flag.
I will double check the rules for you, Mr. Cosgrove. I will look at it to see, because we didn't know what a black and white flag was.
They have stopped at Nottingham, and I got a funny feeling that driver is a bit hot in there.
Right, okay. Red flag, the driver must come to an immediate safe and controlled stop on the track and must follow track marshal's instructions.
So essentially, they couldn't wheel that Manchester car out of the way, I suspect because it's stuck in gear, and as a result, they have to put the T-tray underneath it. Meanwhile, our main camera feed has decided to give up here in the commentary box. It is that hot, I can understand, so we're going to have to turn our attention. It's back now. There we are.
There we go.
Turn it off and on again, why not? Manchester struggling and with their gear changes, it's locked in gear, I suspect, which means that they haven't been able to wheel it away seamlessly, as you'll have found with other cars over the course of the weekend. They put the T-tray on wheels underneath, that's not got it moving. They are really struggling to get this car out of the way, so they've had to put the red flag out there. I can hear an engine revving.
Hopefully the marshals have told them to do that.
And I believe they're being cleared off the track because, of course, NCME and Southampton were waiting. The session has been red flagged. I suspect they've been given permission to move around the course to return to the pit so they can pit, because I think this is going to take a little while because that car's not going anywhere fast. Real shame, by the way, we've not even seen Exeter. We were anticipating on seeing those guys. I don't know what's going on there, so if someone wants to send a representative from Exeter to hang on, there they are,
And look at the Kingston!
Well, Swansea in behind them. We've got Exeter, Kingston and Swansea waiting in the wings.
I think since we're running ahead of what time it is now, it's almost halfway.
They're going to lift the rear wheels and wheel it off using the front ones only. I mean, hey, if Mike wanted training for the London Marathon, he's well and truly got it, wheeling Manchester out of the way, as Nottingham are gently coaxed into the pits. You can see here the session still under the red flags. The teams will be brought out onto track, I suspect in the order of Nottingham, NCME and Southampton, as the teams struggle to push the Manchester car into a safe position. They've managed to get it onto the grass and out of the way. So a round of applause, if you can hear us please, for the marshals and the Dynamics volunteers clearing that Manchester car in these incredibly hot conditions. I mean, hey, round of applause from us in the commentary box.
yeah, because we haven't managed the heat as well.
There we go, but we can hear it in our ears at least, so the gallery are in support of that. Meanwhile, there is Nottingham waiting to be returned to the track. There, meanwhile, is that NCME? I think it is, yes, as distinguished by their green roll hoop. NCME and Southampton running rather similarly in terms of livery, so we've got to really pay attention here. Meanwhile, I really do not envy that driver behind the wheel of the Nottingham car. Head back against the headrest. You can tell how hot it is behind the wheels of these cars, especially in those racing overalls. There's the expired Vermilion car, quite tragically after all the efforts that were made to get it running. Suspension collapsed, they fixed it. They had problems with the T-cell, they fixed it, but they still could not finish endurance. Heartbreak for the Danes. Meanwhile, here is NCME and Southampton being brought back to the pits under red flags, hence why they're going so slowly. Hopefully we'll be able to get the session green flag very soon. Just waiting on the Manchester car to be clear, which I think it has been now. The rear wheels were locked, it was locked in gear. I think that was the reason why they retired. They were struggling with their gear shift from the moment go. And even the marshals and the Dynamics volunteers struggling with the gear shift in order to get the car removed. Meanwhile, it was a conversation that some of the NCME members are running away towards the car behind us here at Cox Corner. So hive of activity in the pit lane as we wait to get back underway. Because bear in mind, not only have we got these three cars that were on track, you can see them there, Southampton, Nottingham and NCME. We've also got in behind waiting patiently is Exeter, Kingston and Swansea.
And we still see the stricken car of Cambridge as well. So
it's a real shame because yeah, I do love that design. It is reminiscent of 60s Formula 1. Now you can see their car 56 is Exeter, behind them is Kingston, and then just out of shot to the left you can see some people around a car. I think that's Swansea. It's going to be nice to see some Welsh representation here. Usual runners Cardiff have been switching to EV, and as we all know, easier said than done. So
it's difficult.
They have been contending with just getting through scrutineering, and they've got, I think, about 80% of the way in their first year, which is a huge achievement for an electric team in their first year. Meanwhile, NCME's driver having a conversation with driver number 2. Here, meanwhile, is Nottingham's team, that you can see on your screens there, waiting for the session to be green flagged. We're waiting here patiently in the commentary box as well. There's the view of the Nottingham driver, who's strapped in and has been for a while now, because they may have only done 7 laps, but bear in mind of course that those laps have been quite slow, so they've been out on track for a while, have Nottingham, and it's only going to get hotter. Meanwhile, people being cleared off the cops.
If they're not a student.
Pardon?
If they, I think if they're not a student, they're probably being asked to.
Spectators are being asked to leave and leave the students in place. I see.
Yeah, which is a bit of a shame because they couldn't see the remainder of endurance. But of course, we have to get things ready for tonight, and of course, the students will have to pack things up after this.
Well, they've got the cop stands as well. Nottingham then, waiting to go as we recommence the session. Just waiting for that thumbs up from the marshals and the dynamics volunteers in purple.
You can hear engines revving. Is it Nottingham's or is it someone else's? It could be another IC car though.
I think that's going to be NCME because Nottingham.
Oh yeah, Nottingham are EV, aren't they? But here comes Nottingham then to carry on with their endurance run. They got hindered by their red flag, but they're going to carry on.
Away go Nottingham, and immediately there's a little more pace there than what we saw previously. But I wonder whether they're running at a ginger pace through a combination of limited power from the motors
And it's just getting through.
Cone's gone immediately, and also being careful with respect to the capacity of the batteries because the brake lights come on
And they
immediately
stop.
They've stopped. The red light is showing. The T cell is red on the roll hoop, but it's just a case of can they keep going consistently?
Yeah, they're carried on. They've carried on. Is Nottingham going through the circuit? So, yes, I think they seem to be more confident through here, but they have to keep the power consistent rather than not at all. And when they go through the overtaking base, that's going to be a struggle for them. They've only done 6 laps.
It's not a lot, but they've been around for a while. But hey, at the end of the day, the more laps you do, the more points you get.
Well, we saw that last year, didn't we? We saw a few teams just going at a slow pace, but they just wanted to get into it. Southampton being one of them, but Southampton doing a lot better this year.
And away goes NCME. The driver plugging away at the dash. Is it me, Jessica? Does that smell a little bit hot?
It does smell a bit hot, and the engine sounds not great.
I'm not sure what's going on with NCME, but I'm just going to cross my fingers for them. Across the line come Nottingham to complete what will be their 8th lap.
It will be hindered, of course, due to the
Red flag.
red flag, yeah.
So I'm not even going to worry about the time there. But NCME are looking a lot slower on this restart post the red flag than we'd seen earlier. It's almost like a sailing boat with its sail and its mast, that very high green roll hoop. But I've got to say, Jess, I'm a bit concerned about the University of Greater Manchester.
I think without that red flag, they probably would have been fine. But here comes the University of Southampton. They're not far off completing endurance. They've got a few more laps to go. They probably were very nervous there, but looks like they have not lost their speed.
No, they really haven't. And Southampton actually were on their penultimate lap. They were so close to finishing before that red flag. And all they have to do is coax it home for 2 more laps. NCME, meanwhile, struggling with their power unit. You can hear it. It doesn't sound happy at all. Does the internal combustion unit behind the wheel, behind the rear, in front of the rear wheels. They're driving the rear wheels. There we go. There's a phrase there somewhere, Jess. Driving the rear wheels. It doesn't sound happy in the slightest. Does the car from the University of Greater Manchester. And both Southampton and Nottingham are on the approach to them. And they're going to need this overtaking bay through the Mansell meander because Nottingham are actually catching them up, can you believe?
Yeah, Nottingham seems to be a lot faster than what we saw previously. So
Green flag out, red flag out, I should not.
blue flag.
There's a colour, crikey Moses.
Yeah, blue. But we've seen so many flags today. It's crazy. Meanwhile, Nottingham is waiting in the overtaking bay for Greater Manchester, and probably I thought they were going to wait for Southampton there.
I'll tell you what that was. That wasn't in the overtaking bay. It was on the wrong side of the overtaking bay. Nottingham had a power problem. And that's going to slow Southampton down. The Southampton set off for their last lap. It's not been the clear session they would have wanted. They've got a lot of traffic ahead of them. And both NCME is pulling out of the way of Southampton and, of course, the team from Nottingham. But Nottingham isn't particularly much faster. And that's going to be a real issue for Southampton to post a representative lap time of what their car is actually capable of.
Yeah, because they were looking a lot faster as well. But I think they're trying to get into the top 10. I think that might still be possible.
I was going to say someone stopped. They haven't. It really just is.
It's just Nottingham being slow, but they're not looking at overall pace at this point.
No, indeed. And you can see the blue cones at the bottom of your screen there. That's the next available overtaking bay. So Southampton are going to have to wait for that one. NCME, Greater Manchester, may well have stopped on track because they have not come back into our view here. So NCME, their hopes of endurance may have finished here, as pulling into the overtaking bay are Nottingham. The green flag shows Southampton are moments away from finishing endurance at Formula Student 2026. The team are here at the grass verge of Copse Corner, looking on with sheer delight as the car navigates its way through the Mansell Meander onto the final corner. And here it comes then across the line, and Southampton finish endurance, and they are over the moon with that.
Oh, look at that. They've got a big team of supporters there. Southampton weren't even expected to get it to this point today. We were worried they weren't going to make it, but they did. And bearing in mind, they got that out of order penalty to contend with as well.
Oh, dear. Just, here's a car I've been looking forward to all day. As across the line comes Nottingham yet again, and this might actually help out the next team to head to the track. Nottingham's pace, that slightly conservative pace, may actually help out Exeter, who we know have had problems all weekend, but they've still been determined to run in as many dynamic events as they can. The revs build on the line, and here they go then. How long can the team from Devon last is the question, as through the chicane goes Nottingham. The yellow flag is out, I suspect because Nottingham are, because of the NCME car is still there out of shot. Yeah, I can just about see the roll hoop on the right of the screen there, but no problems for Nottingham, who are cruising on by. Exeter on the approach, they're going to have to slow down, but I also know that Exeter have got to keep the revs up in order to actually keep going, so they can't really afford to slow down too much. But equally, if they go too fast, I've got a funny feeling their power unit's going to expire. It's a catch-22 for Exeter, and I can't see them on my screen there, Jess. I don't know where Exeter have... Oh, there they are. They've suddenly arrived right behind.
Stop panicking there.
And there they are. Nottingham then will have to pull in for Exeter, who are on the approach. And Southampton have completed endurance. There they are, being wheeled to their team, who are over the moon. I imagine there'll be great cheers erupting. And yes, there they are, cheering on their team. For a team who weren't even sure we're going to compete in endurance, they've completed it. Well done to them.
They had highs and lows all weekend, pretty much.
Nottingham into the overtaking bay as through goes Exeter. The green flag shows for Exeter. Building those revs, it sounds like an angry swarm of wasps does the Exeter car. Oil pressure problems throughout the weekend. Not only pressure problems, but I suspect
fuel problem. Yeah, well, there was fuel problem. There was a leakage on Friday, which meant they had to fix it before they go there. And we still got the yellow flag waving for MCME.
Yes, indeed.
The question is...
Exeter go through with no issue, so they've got a clear track ahead of them. For now, Nottingham are a distant memory. 1 lap down for Exeter, a 118.63. As meanwhile, Nottingham are not a million miles away, Jazz, from completing their first driver's stint. A green cone, well and truly gone there for Exeter. But at this point, the more time they can get out on track and the more laps they can do, the happier they will be. I've got a funny feeling it's very much a case of everything or nothing for Exeter. They're going to leave it all out on track, even if that means killing this car. They are desperate to do as well as they possibly can. They're with the team who are keeping us all informed of the timings. Now, they are working away like troopers to give you accurate timings adjusted for those driver swaps and the code penalties. As Exeter complete their second lap with a 112.04, the times are tumbling already. 3 laps, third lap in progress there for Exeter. They've got to navigate through the chicane and the approach to Brutus Maximus before having to also contend with the stranded NCME car. They go through with no problems. I know you're very invested in this, Jess, being from Plymouth yourself.
Yeah, of course. We do. My local city does have a team, but they're in concept cars. So this team is the only team from Devon in the FS class at Exeter. I've been following their documentary, which is also nominating them for a few awards as well, which is quite cool. So wish you best of luck for that. So I've been following their journey quite a lot. I know quite a few of the drivers as well. One of the drivers winning most entertaining driver last year by yours truly. And here is Kingston University on track. Oh, this is another team I wanted to see out there on track. Their livery looks good, and the atmosphere there was brilliant. So Come on, Kingston. Let's see if they can finish endurance too. Oh, there's a few cones gone off from
Kingston.
Kingston.
A lot of cones gone from Kingston as they enter the fray and make themselves known as they slow down to navigate past.
Oh,
They have stopped,
they stopped
and there's a car
completely.
moving ahead of them, and I'm not quite sure what that is.
Oh, there
This
they
is a
go.
This is a wonderful tribute to Luke Williams, as it says on the back there of the car from Kingston. Both Kingston and Exeter having to stop because Nottingham has stopped in front of them, or is it the NCME?
No.
So
It is
Nottingham's
not
carrying on then. So what has brought Kingston and Exeter to a halt? I don't know. Have Kingston broken down, or is there something blocking their path? We know the NCME car is parked up that way. As yes, Kingston are moving off, and now hopefully Exeter will. No, hang on. That's not the right direction there for Kingston. The hairpin goes out to the right first before sweeping round through the left. There's a car parked there, but the sun's glinting off the screen, and we can't tell who that is. I think that's Kingston.
Yeah.
Is that Kingston? Is that Kingston?
Yes. Looks like it. Kingston Uni, it says. As a check of, there is a check of
Exeter.
flag. Nottingham have done their first driver change very soon.
Fantastic. That's the first stint over.
Oh, there's Exeter. They're back on track.
That's the first stint over for Nottingham as Exeter continue on their way. Problems then for Kingston, who were looking exuberant off the line and were brought to a halt around the same place that we lost NCME. So not quite sure what's going on with Kingston as Exeter fly past the other side of the course opposite us here in the commentary box. Meanwhile, Nottingham are in for their driver change. Laps completed by Exeter so far 3, their 4th nearly at an end as they come through the Mansell meander. Exeter did have a bit of problem with that, and then Kingston are back underway. Great news for them.
Oh, something's flapping, Giles. Can you see? The
Where am
front
I
wing
looking?
looks flapping.
The front wing is being disturbed by the airflow. It's not as static as you might expect.
Yeah, it's a bit weird. We do have a shout out from someone who is a big fan of Manchester or with Manchester, saying still massive shout out to Manchester, highest ever static performance in our team's history, especially in engineering design and business presentation, highest ever performance in acceleration in our team's history. Shall come back stronger next year. I think Manchester should still be very proud of themselves. Yes, they didn't complete endurance, but they had their highest ever finish in statics and acceleration. I think a job well done. They'll come back stronger next year.
Yeah, it's a great.
Oh, that doesn't sound
That's-
healthy for Kingston.
Struth, talk about a backfire. Crikey Moses. Sounds like the song coming out the back of that. Yellow flag out for Kingston. Big love to Manchester for doing as well as they have done. That is a significant achievement as they came round the final corner, the corner with no name, did Kingston, and the backfiring began and it didn't stop. Exeter sailing on by.
No problem there. And interestingly, with Exeter, they were able to get the car going again after they were stuck by Kingston and MCME.
I will be completely honest with you, Jess. This is not the performance I was expecting from Exeter.
Now, to be
Meanwhile-
fair, with the problems they had,
We can actually hear the Kingston car because they've stopped right outside our commentary box, and there were 2 or 3 significant backfires, and the car drew to a halt. And they've only just got it restarted, but every time it restarts, it won't idle. And this is a real shame for a car we've been looking forward to seeing out on track. And all the hope in the world that they can get back going again. They are on that opening straight, and
so we can hear the engine refiring every time, couldn't we?
yeah, indeed. Exeter, meanwhile, carrying on their way. 5 laps completed, 6th in progress. Their latest a 109.01.
Not as fast as other teams, but I don't think they care about that at the moment with the
No,
problems they've
indeed.
had.
To be honest with you, I don't think they were expecting to be in this position. I'd also like to shout out a rather poorly Liza Ashford, who should be here this weekend, but is unwell and was unable to join us. The yellow flag's waving for Exeter as they complete another lap before they try and pull round the Kingston car. Bad timing for Kingston because it looked like they were just about to pull away as Exeter then came by and they had to stop once more. Sixth lap complete for Exeter, including that yellow flag, 1:16.97. 6 laps completed, 7th in progress, with a poorly power unit in the back. How long can this power unit last before it expires? I do wonder. Kingston's power unit has expired, and the car is being removed from the track, and that is over for Kingston with 1 lap completed. Gutting for Kingston.
But like I was saying about Manchester, the team at Kingston have worked so hard. You should be very proud to get to this point. There's about half the seats made it through scrutineering. They're one of them. A big job on that. There's some teams that have got in a worse position than you. So Kingston, despite the fact that you DNF'd, you're in a much better position than some other teams. So you should all be very proud. I think they'll definitely come back fighting next year. But good news for Exeter, they're going to have a clear track for a while.
They are indeed. Talking of teams that didn't finish, Not Good Gaming 101 says, can we get a shout out for OBR, please? Whilst it wasn't our best on track performance, the statics team did phenomenally, and the team has worked incredibly hard this year. We will come back stronger. Meanwhile, Sam says, did Hertfordshire ever make it on track? I'm afraid to say no, they didn't. He also adds, OBR looked good, should look good to go big next year.
Yeah, it was a bit of a shame they haven't done well in Dynamics this year, but I think next year they'll come back fighting. They've got some data.
Meanwhile, Exeter sounding a little worse for wear, and I'm hardly surprised given the problems I know the team are suffering from, as the driver from Kingston is applauded by the assembled collective here on the Copse Grass verge, and Exeter are looking slower, and I wonder how much further they can keep going. So far they've done 7 laps, their 8th is in progress. Away goes Swansea, some Welsh representation sounding huge off the line, but Exeter are suddenly crawling along now, and it's only a matter of time before this car gives up the ghost, surely. I say that not because I'm being negative, but because I've had conversations with the team. I get on with them quite well, and they've told me more than I should know. But suffice to say, to have got this far with the car in its current state, fair play to everyone involved at Exeter. They've worked overtime to get to this point, despite every problem being thrown at them, including a lot of deductions for late submissions, which was less than ideal, and they've still come through that. If you actually look at their design score, it's not representative of what they've really got. Nottingham out on track then for their second stint. Exeter having slowed down considerably. Last year's most entertaining driver behind the wheel there is Alex Pritchard driving for Exeter. Their latest time of 1:32.12, 8 laps in progress. Meanwhile, stopping on track there, Jess.
It's Swansea.
That's not ideal for the team from Wales. They sounded very...
I think they were like Kingston. The revs just sounded very weird when they were going off the line as well.
Meanwhile, coming through to complete their 8th lap is Exeter with a time of 1:44.57. Not their fastest, but they're still going.
And they are still going, is Exeter, and well, I think it's just a question of when if they're going to finish rather than here we go. I think that's Swansea back up and running.
Swansea over the moon, and you know this car can go some when the power's there. They've just been having problems, but they seem to have conquered it for a moment there. Meanwhile,
is that car 47? I'm trying to figure out who that is. Waiting to go.
Negotiating through the chicane with driver number 2 out on track. Swansea crawling along. Not looking great here all of a sudden yet again for the team from Wales. It's a bit of a rivalry between Cardiff and Swansea, usually competed in Welsh varsity. Right here, right now, just really hoping they can get going again. The yellow flag is out, it's on the final corner. They are moving the cones in order to give position to the teams to move around the car from Swansea. And Exeter are still going. Meanwhile, there's a lot of revs, but not a lot of movement. But boy, oh howdy, I can't believe this. Birmingham City University.
Wow.
Now, I spoke to Liam yesterday, and he was searching the pits high and low for a key component that they couldn't find. And they ended up making one themselves in the pits. So hats off to Birmingham City to get themselves into this position. Talking of positions, Swansea have broken down on a rather awkward one, as Nottingham manoeuvre themselves around. Going through then, do Nottingham to complete another lap. Now, They are now on their 15th lap, 14 completed. Driver number 2 behind the wheel. Their latest is 2:17.40. And away goes Swansea. It sounds like it's very high revs there, I've got to say. Meanwhile, that's going to be a bit of a problem for Nottingham, because all of a sudden, once everybody gets going, they suddenly become the slowest car on track once again. And Birmingham City University are about to add to their problems. It's going to be a train of cars behind Nottingham once more, but Swansea looking slow yet again into the hairpin at the top of the course, Brutus Maximus, and Nottingham suddenly slowing to a crawl and nearly losing it on the exit of Brutus Maximus with Swansea there. Not expecting to see the slow car of Nottingham waiting for them. In fact, I think Nottingham did stop for a moment. That's now meant that Swansea have stopped, and I wonder what that's going to do for Exeter and, of course, Birmingham City. Nottingham back underway. Exeter blocked and moving around, I suspect. Yes, they're moved around Swansea's car. Birmingham City will be the same. It's all happening, Jess.
It is all drama at this point. It's not about the pace for these cars. I think everybody, because it's not that long until the end of Formula Student as a whole, everyone wants to see these teams doing well. Even if you're like a team that's competing for the title or not, or even if you haven't made it through scrutiny, you just want to see the progress of all the other teams competing in endurance remaining still to go, because the amount of effort everyone has made just to be here today. Swansea is still going on right now. It's like a traffic jam here in Cops Corner as Nottingham completes their next lap. It's going to be a 1:47.22.
Exeter still going as well. Nottingham on your screens there. On to their 16th lap now, 15 complete. There is Exeter, a lot slower than we saw earlier, as they are blue flagged to allow Birmingham City through. Swansea, continual problems. When they're quick, and when they're not, they're not. And through go Birmingham City on Swansea as well, getting a bit swiftly on the exit of the final corner, and taking up a couple of the corner cones. That's going to block the way for Exeter, as through the corner with no name came Swansea. When negotiating around them is the team from Exeter, who have found a similar place now to Nottingham. Lap 10 completed, onto their 11th, 13 required for driver number 1 Alex Pritchard. Yellow flags out for this section of the course at the top end on the approach to Brutus Maximus, as through the corners they go, but yellow flags are still there. Birmingham City lapping. They have worked night and day to get the car to this position. They had lost a key component, and they managed to make their own. And look at this, this is absolutely great. I also love the handmade feel of the Birmingham City car. You can see the rivets all across the body panels. They have something picked up or potentially lost there through that chicane on the entrance there, but I suspect it may have just been a bit of debris on the track. Birmingham City lapping very nicely indeed. And heading into the Bales hairpin, there's a yellow flag out, this time for Swansea, who are calling to a stop, and that will mean Nottingham can come through. Where's Exeter is the question. I can't see them currently. Have you got eyes on Exeter, Jess?
I'm just trying to see as we speak. No, Exeter's there. Exeter's there. It's all good. Thanks, Monty.
So, to recap right now, the fastest car on track is car 47, Birmingham City University. Unfortunately, Swansea, whilst quick, have inconsistent power. Nottingham slowly bringing it home. The tortoise and the hare at play here. If they can finish endurance, it will be a downside more than most teams have accomplished this weekend. So they're just going to keep on keeping on. Exeter, meanwhile, contending with a very unwell power unit. They had set off at a fairly reasonable pace at Exeter, but unfortunately as things stand, they've lost that pace and they're crawling around even slower than Nottingham. Meanwhile, talking of slow, Swansea crawling to a halt yet again through the bus stop, and they are pulling out in to be overtaken by Nottingham, Jess.
Exeter's engine doesn't sound very healthy at this stage, but I think they should want to get the car home at this point. But Swansea, hold on, who's that?
Nottingham stopped and they've started again. Birmingham City on the prowl. Birmingham City have completed 3 laps. Their latest is a 1:06.95. 4th lap in progress.
Swansea have stopped in the overtaken bay. There's been a few times where they've been struggling to get on the power. Could this be the moment where, unfortunately, I see a flag, Giles, that I was not expecting to see. A black flag. Who for?
Good question. The marshal questioning the choice of flag with race control. I'm not quite sure who this black flag is being prepared for, but it's certainly being prepared for someone. And I wonder whether perhaps one of these teams that's going too slowly is about to be brought in for an unreasonable pace. We're going to keep an eye then on the final corner. The black flag is there, and unfortunately it's there for one of these teams out on track at the moment. Swansea back lapping, pulling in there is one of the teams, as Swansea going through on them. Meanwhile, Birmingham City are coming by. Potentially Birmingham City could possibly be being black flagged for ignoring the yellow flags. I wonder whether perhaps that could be the case.
Right, it's not Nottingham.
It's not Nottingham, so I think that might be Birmingham City. No, it's not. In fact,
It could be Exeter.
In fact, it might actually. Who is this? Who is going to get this black flag? It's Swansea. Swansea have been black flagged. I suspect for inconsistent power. But I want, surely the meatball flag would be used for that. So I'm unsure as to the exact cause of that black flag, but they've been brought in. Usually a black flag is for poor driving, but to my mind, I'm not convinced that there was particularly poor driving on the part of Swansea, as through go Exeter to complete another lap against all odds. Someone play Phil Collins, 2 minutes 11.62. Lap number 12 for Exeter, onto their final lap of this stint from Exeter.
I was not expecting this. A black flag, by the way, in the ball, saying the driver must pull into the driver change area at the end of the lap when the flag is shown for discussion. The time penalty is the discussion time with the official, which may be reassessed. So they may not be disqualified. They're just going to have to be told what the time penalty is, or if they are not allowed to continue. We'll see.
Birmingham City going through then on Nottingham. The checkered flag is out, and that will be for Exeter as they finish their first stint. Meanwhile, you can see the fastest car on track coming through here and across the line to complete lap number 4 for the team from Birmingham City, a 1:21.32. On to lap 5. Nottingham continue on their way at their own pace. The tortoise and the hare does indeed come to mind, as we've been pointing out a lot over the course of this weekend. Meanwhile, here is the checkered flag then for Exeter. Just got to find the Exeter car. It's lapping a lot slower than they initially started out with. And we know Alex does like to drive a bit faster than this, but we know it as well the power unit is not well. So keep an eye on car 56, car 47 on your screens, lapping at a pace we're more used to here at Endurance. And 105 is very reasonable for Birmingham City.
I think it's good in comparison to the likes of Warwick, Southampton, and Malta and the Basque Country. It's completely in comparison to them. So Birmingham City looking very good out there on circuit. The checkered flag is being waved for the University of Exeter. Not the pace they would have liked, but they've done their first stint with driver 1, and we'll see what they can do with driver 2 if they can make it out on track. Car 47, Birmingham City University have completed their next lap, and their lap time is a 106.91, which is their best lap time so far, Giles.
Excellent stuff for Birmingham City. Exeter, of course, they would have started out with a fairly high oil pressure, and that oil pressure would have dropped off as the run has continued, because they've got issues with that oil pump and oil pressure. As Monty pointed out, they're running at 1/8 of the oil pressure that they should have been towards the end of their runs yesterday, and all they can do, they've replaced the oil pump. I suspect that's not particularly helped, and I'm not convinced they're going to be able to get the car started, but I've got my fingers and toes crossed, because that lot, I love them. They remind me of Hesketh, the old Formula 1 team. It's all champagne and caviar in the pits, and it's all jolly good fun, and I really do appreciate that attitude to it. They're competitive, but they also take it in good spirits. For car 47, meanwhile, and that's not good for Nottingham. They've stopped on track, but they are going again. Patience is a virtue if you're a Nottingham fan, and I think you're going to need a lot of it. Meanwhile, coming through the final corners of this lap for Birmingham City, with a time then for their 6th lap, it's going to be a 1:08.15 for Birmingham City. I'm really impressed with this. I'm really impressed with Birmingham City.
They didn't even do that. I don't think they did a lap. I think they only did a few laps yesterday in sprint.
Yeah, they did, and it's just great to see. They basically lost a key component. It malfunctioned during the sprint run yesterday. They were scrambling around the pitch trying to find anyone who used the same thing. They couldn't, so they manufactured one themselves in the pits. And that is the spirit of Formula Student in a nutshell. Does Nottingham carry on their way? No, it's not the fastest, but in fact, they are actually now 9th in endurance, the 9th furthest travelled car, and in fact, every car ahead of them has actually completed endurance. So Nottingham doing very well, irrespective of pace.
This is always great to see, isn't it? No, I think Northampton are just having fun at this point. No, Nottingham. We are in Northampton. That's probably why I got a bit confused, Giles. My geography is quite worse at the
I
moment.
was going to say, I thought it was me that was bad at geography.
Yeah. It's me. But Birmingham City going up to the line. It's going to be a 109.49. Nottingham completed at a similar time. That's why I got a bit confused.
Nottingham 150.49, lap 21 in progress, 20 laps completed for Nottingham. Birmingham City's latest lap of 109.49, and that is their 8th lap underway then for Birmingham City. You can see them on your screens there through the haze of the heat rising off the tarmac here at Silverstone. Now bear in mind, we are using Cops Corner, but we're not only just using the Grand Prix course, but we're also using the runoff, which means the surface does change consistently under the cars, which will unsettle them and does require maximum drivability. Some cars are better for that than others. As Drew passes in the commentary box, go Birmingham. Now Cheryl's here in the pits. Cheryl, can I ask you to do us a massive solid and pop over to the pits and see how Exeter are getting on?
Yes.
Thank you very much indeed for that. As Birmingham City carry on then through the Mansell Meander and into the final corner. This is looking really good from Birmingham City, and I can see the frustration and why the teams were so passionate about finding that missing component, because they know the car's got pace, and it very clearly does, and they've got an open track for them. Yes, they will be penalised as a result of running out of order, but with their 9th lap in progress and their latest of 106.11, this is looking very, very good indeed for Birmingham City. Exeter are currently in the midst of their driver change, and hopefully Cheryl will come back with some more intel as to how they're getting on. I'm not 100% sure whether they'll be able to restart. What more have you got there on Birmingham City, Jess?
It is an achievement in itself that they go through the dynamic events, because at last year's event they came short for passing scrutiny by 20 minutes on the Sunday.
Ouch.
So they took defeat with pride. They were working on the car, and they have quite a unique car, for them to make it through. They got their car on track. They haven't been in the dynamic events for over 5 years. So incredible feat for Birmingham City University to make it through scrutineering ahead of schedule after just missing out last time. I think a few teams were probably falling short this weekend, and their car's just sounding brilliant.
I've got to say a shout out to Kean Butler, who got out of his car and re-watched the live stream. And as he started his run, driver number 2 for Edith Cowan, he saluted, and I thought he was saluting the marshal who had set him off. Instead, apparently, he said, "Silly Giles, I was saluting you."
Oh!
Love you, bro.
That's brilliant. Of course, Edith Cowan, excluding co-penalties, are your current leaders of endurance.
Yes, indeed. Although they're not occupying the hot seat. So Edith Cowan, if you fancy heading over to the hot seat, feel free. Bit of tyre squeal from Birmingham City as they push their car to take full advantage of that empty track and try and make up for the deficit they're going to receive as a result of running out of order, going through the not quite so straight and into the second slalom before the Welsh wiggle and the Bailey's hairpin. Nottingham continuing to lap now, Jess, as they come across the line to complete their 22nd lap with a time of, drumroll please, 134.28 as Birmingham City follow suit very quickly behind, and this ought to be the fast lap for them, and it is a 1:06.79.
This is not looking good for Exeter. Unfortunately, they're getting their car into the pits. They are out of endurance.
Absolutely gutting for the team from Exeter, firm favourites here at Formula Student, and they're there with Cheryl in the high-vis squared on this occasion, and hopefully we'll be able to bring you some more information as to what's happened there with Exeter. Heartbreak for the team from Devon. We knew that power unit was unlikely to last the course, but we did wonder whether it was coming.
I think they had trouble restarting.
Wouldn't surprise me in the slightest.
It overheated, Cheryl just said, Giles.
without that oil, I'm not surprised. Here we are then with Birmingham City stuck behind Kingston.
Oh, what's happened there?
There's vapour coming off the back of the Birmingham City car. It's probably just exhaust. I wouldn't be too worried about that in the immediate, to be honest, Jess. These cars are hot. Oh, hang on though. Yeah, they're underway. I wouldn't be immediately worried about that. The car getting underway then for Birmingham City. They've just got to wait for the overtaking bay to become available. But there is...
Where are they going?
Yeah, they're fine. I suspect they're just waiting for for the Nottingham car to move. Birmingham City back underway, coming past the Nottingham car. Nottingham stopped, got going, pulled into the overtaking bay. Birmingham had to stop behind Nottingham, and then they had to get going again. So that was what that was. It's very hot, and I suspect that's what that vapor that we were seeing off the back was merely just exhaust.
I was getting a bit worried there.
I think we're okay. The marshals may see it differently, but from us here in the commentary box, I suspect that's just a slightly hot engine idling.
Okay. Just give you want a bit more info on it.
If we go to Cheryl, she will be able to provide us a little bit more on what's gone on with Exeter. You said overheating.
Yes, they overheated and they had a little bit more glitter in their oil, but they're in high spirits because they got further than they thought they would.
I'm really impressed actually, and we did wonder whether they might even make it past the driver swap because we were anticipating 2 or 3 laps in the engine to go bang. Instead, just glitter in the oil. There's something smelling, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is an odd smell.
That's a hot engine. And oh, hang on. Monty's just said there's fluid on track, and yes, I can see that now. And is that, Monty, you know better than I do, is that the smell of oil?
Damn right, boy.
Unfortunately as well, there was white smoke coming off the back of the Birmingham City car, and I do wonder whether that's an expired engine. Jess, you were right to call it. You can see it coming off the back of the Birmingham car. White smoke means burning oil. That's what we can smell in the air.
It was like that with Max Verstappen in F1, which is why I was questioning it.
I was trying to be optimistic, but no, you were right to call it. There's white smoke coming out the back of that Birmingham City car, and they've got the fire. They need to stop because the poor marshal's running with a fire extinguisher. 2 fire extinguishers rushing to the back of the car, and that's on fire. Birmingham City have spent all the performance. The driver's got to get out, and this is what egress is all about. It's a very quick expelling the driver from the car as the marshal is rushed over to extinguish the fire. The driver is fine.
Do you want to know the heartbreak? It was
gutting.
It was 1 lap before their driver change.
Oh no, absolute heartbreak for Birmingham City University and the driver with their hands on their head. An absolute heartbreak. They've worked so hard to get to this point, and for an engine to expire like that, absolute disaster. Meanwhile, Nottingham getting on with the job. It's not the fastest, it's not the most dramatic, but I tell you what, they're sticking at it, Jess.
Yeah, I think their goal is to complete endurance, and it looks like they're going a bit faster around some corners, and they're not just. I think in the spirit of endurance, this is what we like to see from Nottingham. They've worked so hard to get to this point just to even make it on track.
So, from what we can gather then, Nottingham are currently just 1 lap away from finishing endurance against all odds. It's been methodical, but it's been consistent for the most part. As they carry on their way, they've seen plenty of teams come past them continually, only to break down. And yet here in Nottingham, carrying on their way, it's not going to break any records, but it is going to get them a huge haul of points. They've been working night and day to get into at least a dynamic event and to rock up for endurance and to finish it ahead of so many who have tried and failed is a significant achievement. The penultimate lap underway then, midway through for the team from Nottingham. Birmingham City's car expiring dramatically, white smoke coming off the back. I'd hoped it was exhaust. Deep down I knew it wasn't, but I didn't want to say anything until that smell, that distinctive burning oil smell, and you could see there was liquid on the track, and unfortunately the fire extinguishers had to be brought out. Nottingham's team headed to the barriers at Cops Corner to watch their team in the final throes of endurance. 1 more lap to go for the team from Nottingham. Jess cheering them on. You're over the moon with this, aren't you?
I'm over the moon for this because yes they're slow, but they work so hard. They've got 1 more lap to do it. Can they do it? They're going towards course for one final time. This is the last car to complete endurance. Nottingham are going to be the last car that we're seeing at the former student track of 2026. I think Nottingham could just bring this home. Yes, it's slow, but this is amazing stuff.
There was a moment there. They're back under power. The team are clapping. They know that's all they need to do. A shout out to all the teams, by the way, and yes, teams, etc. Anyway, more to the point. Oh, hang on. There's a yellow and red flag out now.
Well, is it slippery surface?
That'll be for the oil.
That'll be for the oil left behind by the team from Birmingham City. We've had so many flags today. Anyway, big shout out to the teams. Transponders, back to the timing coordinators, please. Please return your transponders to race control. Transponders to race control, please. Meanwhile, though, let's give a big hand for Nottingham. They have fought tooth and nail to get to this point as they come through the high-speed section of the course, through the not-so-straight, onto the second slalom, and into the Welsh Wiggle. Only the Bales hairpin and the Mansell Meander to contend with before the final corner, Jess. They are moments away from completing endurance. This is going to be a real moment.
Here we go then. Nottingham against all odds. They were one of the last teams to pass scrutineering, and it was worth it. The University of Nottingham completes the endurance, and that's an amazing achievement for them, considering they weren't even expecting to make it through this point. And the team are overjoyed. They're going to go and celebrate with their two drivers. I would have been over the moon if I were them.
I love this. I mean, without cones and without adjusting for the driver swap, 61 minutes and 26 seconds and 43 milliseconds.
Who cares? They finished.
Absolutely, who cares? Massive congratulations to the University of Nottingham.
And congratulations to all teams that completed endurance, which will be Nottingham, Central, we've got Lancashire, Southampton, Birmingham, Glasgow, Caledonian. 5th place, by the way, at the moment, excluding penalties. Fair play to them. And we got Warwick, Staffordshire, Modena, and Edith Cowan. Edith Cowan, your farthest time in endurance, excluding any penalties, with a 28.47.
All to play for then as we head to the awards evening later today at Silverstone in the pavilion, broadcast live on the YouTube channel. But I will also add, could the teams whose cars have broken down and been left out on track please come to the Cops Gates to collect them? Please come and collect your cars. Those include the University of Manchester, of course Cambridge, and I don't know whether they wheeled off Birmingham City.
Vermilion as well.
Vermilion too, yes, it's almost like Pokemon. Got to collect them all. Unfortunately for those, but great joy for Nottingham as they finish endurance. I'm unsure whether we're going to have time for wacky races. I know we're finishing a little earlier in anticipation.
We got 50. I don't think we're going to finish in. Oh, I don't think we're going to do wacky races in 15 minutes.
No, unfortunately not. But having said that, Jess, what an absolutely monumental weekend at Formula Student, and it goes down to the wire. We really, really do not know who is going to have won Formula Student 2026. It could go to Italy, it could go to Australia. We genuinely have no idea. Going into this, there was a 20-point gap. Over at ECU, they reckon on approximately a 10-point advantage with regards to efficiency, given the larger size of the Modena engine. The times, without penalties and without being adjusted for the driver swap, in endurance, Edith Cowan topped out, preliminary mind you, 28.47.32, Modena a 30.53.95. But having said that, Modena were in the lead. They had the advantage to begin with, and they were very, very strong indeed. Edith Cowan are in with a shout, but Modena are looking strong, and we're going to find out tonight in the awards.
And don't forget, it's not just the FF car. Of course, FSAI did endurance today, so we'll find out the overall winners for FSAI. And also concept class, we'll find out the overall winners of that. As who goes? The team from Nottingham going with their car to congratulate the team. Over the moon, overjoyed. Of course, they've got to get their car post-scrutineered. It's still not over for them yet, but here come the highs, and then here comes the lows of the two drivers that couldn't get their car finished for endurance.
Absolutely heartbreaking. I'm really gutted for Birmingham City. So Liam and the gang, really gutted for you guys, because I know how hard you worked, and to see it go up in a cloud of fire extinguisher spray was not exactly, I imagine, how you'd intended on finishing Endurance. Neither, I imagine, for Vermilion, Ox and Manchester, who you're seeing on your screens there.
Right, so
who also came to
change
an
of
abrupt
plan.
end on both
We are going
cases.
to run a wacky races now. So effectively, anyone who has a car that would be eligible to run.
Anyone who has a
running
car,
Endurance.
pay attention. All drivers to your cars. In fact, Henry, do you want to just get on the microphone?
No, I really don't. Right,
He
we're,
doesn't
so
want to, apparently.
anything that would go through endurance, so scrutineering, all happy to go.
Yeah.
We're doing a 13-lap dash.
Right.
It's
But I
going to be
appreciate you've got no idea
unscored.
what's going on at the end of this conversation, but we're just being informed
Right.
that wacky races will in fact take place. It's going to be a 13-lap dash for all cars that have qualified, that have completed all of the scrutineering requirements. So teams like Surrey, who for instance very quickly fixed the issue that they had that saw them out of Endurance. I know they want to compete again. If you want to compete in this,
No points.
no points are available, but
Just for
fun.
fun.
It does mean your car's going to be on track, and we're going to talk about it. So if you haven't had the chance to get your car out on track yet, and it has completed all of the scrutineering, or you went out earlier, you had it fixed, and you're back out and ready to go again, we'd love to see you. It's a 13-lap dash. We're calling it Wacky Races. Where do teams have to be and at what time, Henry?
End of the pit lane, ASAP.
End of the pit lane as soon as possible.
Cheers, Charles.
Cheers, Henry. There's a man who sees cones as enemies and crashed into them back in my day.
Well, they got the message pretty fast.
There we go. So I know Surrey have been chomping at the bit to go again because we know that their problem was simply PUD and it could be fixed really quickly, and there was a lot of heartbreak in Surrey's team. Their first time out on track in 7 years, working incredibly hard and very long hours to get to this point. To see it go wrong for something as simple as a PUD problem was heartbreaking for them, and I know they'll want to get out on track if at all possible, and they will be joining us for Wacky Races, a 13-lap exhibition as fast as you can, rag it, leave it all out on the track, and we'd love to see some sideways action. We just have to wait for the track to be cleared after the oil spill from Birmingham City.
And the stranded cars, because we got Manchester still to go away.
Yeah, all drivers and teams, if you've left your car stranded on track, could you go and collect it, please?
Because we want the wacky races.
Cars are for life, not just for Christmas. You can't abandon them.
Yes. And hopefully we will see cars we haven't seen on track at all.
I'm hoping to. What I really want to see is how good the Surrey car can be, because I was having conversations in their pit lane yesterday, and their driver is confident that actually, all being well, with a clear track, they could actually get close to that 60-second barrier, if not get under it, and be close to some of the faster times that we've seen. So I really do want to see that, if nothing else.
Yeah, we've seen how Surrey were quick in the sprint, weren't they, with their first driver?
Precisely, and they do take it very, very seriously. In fact, they were over in race control yesterday after some of their laps got halted by red flags, and they were wondering why they couldn't restart them. They were there having conversations with the dynamic volunteers. Big conference at play there, so you can see how much it means to these guys. Lancashire in the background is where Staffordshire. Staffordshire always take part in wacky races. There's applause going up here at the Cops Corner.
Looks like for
And I suspect...
Oh, it's for Birmingham City.
That is for Birmingham City, and I would like to join in on that, because fair play to them for going through it all just to get there and get something out on track. Fair play. And I must say, if you're going to go out in a blaze of glory, and that's exactly what they did. Safely, mind you. Nobody was hurt, but apart from the car and maybe some pride. But pride will heal, and the car can be fixed. So good news there all round in that regard. Meanwhile, Surrey here, cheering as the car is brought out. I think they're pretty pleased with that. Yeah, Birmingham City University, hats off to you. There's chants of some description going on. I can't quite make out what they're saying.
I'm loving the spirit, despite the fact they couldn't make it. I don't think they were expected to be there. That's the problem.
I mean, fair play. I mean, they worked through the night. They made their own fix, and it lasted for nearly a whole stint. So fair play. Surrey locking in then behind the wheel for the first run on Wacky Races, whilst we just wait for this Manchester car to be cleared. It's been a little bit tricky, and the teams are wrestling with it to try and get it out of the way, kicking cones left, right, and centre in order to
Luckily,
clear
there's
it.
no penalties.
Well, good news for them. Jess, I'm going to quickly dash off, and I'll be right back.
No problem at all. No problem at all. It's been a very busy day here in Endurance, and I think for all the teams waiting in the queue, they just want to go and have some fun. Wacky Races, 13-lap dash, just for a bit of fun to end Formula Student in style. We had FSAI today do their in Endurance, and we're ending the day with wacky races for the FS class of Formula Student 2026. Of course, we would like to thank all of the Silverstone Orange Marshals. They're volunteering with us today, as well as the Dynamic Marshals as well. All of our volunteers here at Formula Student. Without them, we couldn't make this event possible. As well as our FS partners, AMSYS, Babcock, Gene House Foundation, and MathWorks. As well as our other sponsors, our FSAI, IPG, Kwanzaa, Multimatic, RS. We've got Atlassian Williams F1 team. We've got ASM as well. We've got Cummins, who are our exhibitors, as well as Navy, OnCheck, and Durasoft. Our sustainability partner of Coyton, apologies if I said this wrong, by the way, and our innovation partner funded by the UK government. Without these sponsors, we couldn't do Formula Student. And I would like to say thank you to all the sponsors who have been sponsoring our Formula Student teams, because without them, the Formula Student teams wouldn't exist. And of course, they have to market their teams quite a lot in Formula Student, and they do it very, very well indeed. And we've got some comments in the live chat. Steve saying, "Go on, Nottingham! So much effort from the team, and much deserved win to finish in endurance." Nana B saying, "University of Leicester, where are you?" Well, unfortunately, not here. What happened with Swansea? Well, we don't know why you're a black flag. Hopefully, we can hear from someone to find out about what's going on there as well. And Nikki been saying, "Well done, Nottingham, super proud." I'm almost certain that there's quite a lot of support for Nottingham in the comments. Let us know in the live chat what's been your favourite part of Formula Student 2026 so far, and do you think who's it going to go down to win overall? Is it going to go to Italy, or is it going to go to Australia? And we still got plenty of awards to be decided tonight. It's going to be starting earlier, of course, because of the World Cup. We announced quite a few awards last night, including quite a lot of the static event. Of course, Birmingham coming up on top on one of them with a business plan. Oxford Brooks with design. Biscay came out on top as well. Biscay actually had an AI team that did quite well as well. Same with Oxford Brooks. So those two fielding in AI teams for Formula Student, and they've done absolutely fantastic. Shout out to the AI teams, by the way. I would like to see them next time. I haven't had a chance to due to my roles in Formula Student, but it is a good innovation that Formula Student has done in the past, and hopefully we will see more teams in more universities in the future decide to run an FSAI team. And also shout out to University of Edinburgh, by the way, that have got through the FS class group for the first time with an ADS on the back of their car. Their plan wasn't to do the dynamic events in the first place. It was just to get through scrutineering with an ADS on the back of their car, which is no FSAI car has ever done that before, to do that with a Formula in a Formula Student class. So great job to the whole team from Edinburgh. They've been lovely to speak to. They got through quite a few attempts to get through scrutineering, but they finally do it. I can finally reveal which awards are going to be announced tonight in the pavilion. So we got the dynamic events for skid pad and sprint for the FSAI class, as well as the acceleration winner. We got best newcomer as well. We got the best EV powertrain, which is quite a few cars actually. We got the most efficient car for Formula Student class. We've got the endurance award. We'll find out who has won that. We've got the overall dynamic events winner. I'm almost certain I know who's going to win that one. We've got the furthest travel cone. I think I'm almost certain that's going to be Staffordshire. We got most cones hit. There's quite a few teams I think who hit that one. We got most entertaining driver, which is going to be judged by myself and Giles. Top individual driver, that's going to be judged by the dynamic volunteers. I think there's quite a few drivers that are in contention for that one. And we also got the FSAI class endurance winner, AI class overall winner, concept class overall winner, and we got third place runner up and the overall winner Formula Student 2026 for the FS class. Those are your awards that are going to be presented tonight by Dan Jones and Monty and Cheryl. Have you found out what has gone on?
No, Jess, I just nipped to the toilet.
Yeah, I'm so sorry.
Sorry, I know that Sam Collins says that commentators don't have lead breaks, but unfortunately this one does.
We do.
Anyway, more to the point. Someone's asking about what happened with.
What happened with Swansea? I said I don't know. They got black flag, but we don't know why.
So yeah, basically Not Good Gaming asking any update on the problem at OBR. Melted connectors, or welded connectors. The connectors melted and welded themselves together by the sounds of things. Essentially the same problem they had yesterday. Come on Swansea, says Ruben, whilst Adam says GCU first time passing Screw to finishing endurance. Yeah, massive achievement. Big up
I
GCU.
think my biggest good surprise, as well as Nottingham, is GCU.
Oh, absolutely. And they're just a cracking bunch of lads and ladies and just great people.
And they finished quite well as well.
Yeah, definitely. Not Good Gaming saying, do they not do best UK team? No, the teams should kind of work that out amongst themselves. That's not an official award.
Yeah.
We always do it. I've done it myself.
Oxford Brooks won it last year. It looks like it's going to go to Staffordshire this year.
Quite possibly, yes.
Or Warwick. It could be quite close between the two of them.
Yeah, Warwick have really come through this year, and hats off to Warwick for their design. I love it. I really do like a simple form of the student cars. Why I like GCUs as well. It's if you engineer it well but keep the design simple, then the chances are you will do well, and that's just the evidence out on track from GCU and Warwick.
And that's what we were speaking to the scrutineers just now. My advice, if you didn't make it through scrutineering this year, keep it simple, ready for next year.
Yeah, absolutely.
Bring it back to basics.
Meanwhile, I think we're about to be joined by a Formula One legend, and my friend and yours, Willem Tope. Willem,
hello.
How are you?
I'm really well, and you?
All the better for seeing you. Have you had a good weekend?
Fantastic weekend. I love this competition.
We know, and we love having you here. Any highlights in particular for you? Teams or events on track, or what you've seen in judging?
Well, in judging, I'd say the standard on average has improved of the class and the knowledge of the students in the last couple of years, so that's really lovely. And driving, I think for me in particular, two teams stood out driving-wise. Car 37, Modena, and 171 Edith Cowan, both.
Wow.
Yeah, absolutely. Couldn't agree more.
I just can't believe they're just throwing the cars around. No thought about what might break or anything like that. They're just throwing the cars around, confident as anything. Wonderful to see.
Especially when these cars have been designed and built by students, they're essentially living prototypes. To have that much confidence, it's just a next level achievement.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Just really lovely to see. And there's a few cars that have been really close, not quite making it or failing on track, but it's still just really nice to see them out there and having them coming now for their last crack at it. It's just also just brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
100%. And you've been doing this for a long time. Your advice to the students going into next year, because it will be back to the drawing board, back to it again next week, immediately for the next 12 months. What would your advice be?
So get the car finished. So if you've had a schedule and you've struggled then to get through scrutineering, at least to add 2 months to how long you think it's going to take. So in other words, set your deadline 2 months earlier and try and get testing, give your driver's practice, work out what's going to break, what's not going to break, and start earlier.
Being an aerodynamicist yourself, any advice in particular regarding aerodynamics?
So if you're a new team, make sure you cool the car, cool everything you need to cool, and do not put aerodynamics on the car. I love aerodynamics. It's wonderful, it's fun, it's really interesting, but it takes human energy to design, human energy to make. It adds time to your schedule. Oh, we got a car on track.
Away go Surrey. And we're just as excited as Willem here to see Surrey driven truly in anger. This is a car that the team have been desperate to show off and hasn't been able to really show its true strength until now. The track is clear, but you may see some sand jumping up. That's where Birmingham City University led a trail of oil, so don't panic, that's nothing to do with Surrey's car. They're quite fine and they're quite determined to prove that this car can set a sub 60 time.
Okay, you can speak if you want.
Willem, I really do appreciate it, and as does Jess, as do we all. Your time, your energy and your knowledge are just fantastic, so thank you ever so much.
A pleasure.
Catch you soon. Surrey, meanwhile, out on track as they go through the chicane and into the high-speed section of the course. They're not quite straight, followed by the two-cone chicane and headed into the Welsh Wiggle, and finally the Bales hairpin for the Mansell Meander. Now, this is looking a lot quicker than we have seen previously from Surrey. We've known that they can do this, and it's great to be able to see them given the opportunity to display it. They have gone into the overtaking bay, I think
Well, that's not. It's not going to matter, is it? It's
No,
wacky
not really.
races, for goodness sake.
they are on the wacky races section of the event. This doesn't mean anything to do with points, but it means everything to do with pride. These teams have spent hours, months, years building towards this. In the case of Surrey, 7 years it's taken them to get a car out on track, and they want to take up as much opportunity as they can to put the laps in, even if it doesn't count for any points. They went out of endurance earlier with a PUD issue. There was a lot of frustration and heartbreak in the team, and I was gutted for them because they knew the fix was simple. In fact, it was done in half an hour, and that's what these things can hinge on. Just tiny little moments of error can spell the end of a big deal. But they're back out, they fixed it, and they're away. And their first lap was a 1:13.59. I would like to see them push it. It's wacky races after all. Leave it all out on the track. I want to see the tail out, and I want to see a sub 60 time.
And if there's any cars in the queue as well that maybe completed endurance, there's quite a few awards still to win as well, like most entertaining driver, top driver, something to do with coned as well.
Well, plenty to do with cones. There's furthest travelled cone, and there's most cones collected.
So yeah, and there's still plenty of awards. It's wacky races, just have a little bit of fun. There's no points, but there's still awards to be won.
Oh, absolutely. Through they go on to the bus stop. Now, the last lap was a 1:11, so they've lost 2 seconds immediately out of that. And there is a loud noise, but I think that's the trolley behind us.
That's not Surrey. Hand it over.
It did sound a bit like Swansea's car, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, that did.
And Kingston's.
Yeah, unfortunately, Swansea get a black flag. Kingston, a DNF. We've had quite a few DNFs today.
I'm still not quite sure why Swansea were a black flag. I'll have to clarify that later. As away then, go Lancashire. They're back again for another bite of the apple. Great to see. 2 very evenly matched cars. They were both out during...
No, Lancashire finished.
Lancashire did finish, but they were both out, I suspect.
In session 1.
Were they out in session 1?
No, Lancashire session 2.
Just at the top end of session 2 were Lancashire. Surrey was towards the bottom end of session 1. So they're fairly evenly paced, are these 2 cars. Surrey lapping the 1:11 is their fastest. Lancashire have yet to post the time, but across the line come Surrey with a time then of... Please, 1:07.57, edging ever closer to that sub 60 time they're so desperate for. I'm certain they're going to do it. They've got 13 laps each allocated to them, and Lancashire looking very, very good, Jess, I've got to say.
They've been looking very good, and this is an opportunity during these wacky races. If they've not had a driver take part in the endurance course, no restrictions, they can have a go at this if they wanted to, if their team has passed scrutiny, and if they haven't had a go before, they can have a go and have some fun, because they might have just done acceleration, for example, so they get a go here. And car 46, of course, it was a massive achievement to even pass scrutiny and even get to this point, even after having a terrible acceleration in our stands, unfortunately. But just getting to the end for them was incredible, and they're in the top 10 because of it.
This is great stuff. I love wacky races, and in fact Monty's been going around this week with a wacky races shirt, the old Hanna-Barbera cartoon from back in the day. If you remember that, etc. As away go Surrey for the 1:03.35, building up the confidence. Surrey, car number 20, first time on track in 7 years. I've known the team for a long time. I met Molly in the campsite back in one of my competition years, back in 2023. We stayed in touch and been good friends since, and it's been great to see her and the team progress and head towards what is the ultimate achievement, is getting a car out on track. Doesn't matter whether they finished endurance or not, no. 7 years is such a long time, and to achieve that is a huge deal for the guys and girls in Surrey. So hats off to them as Lancashire come across the line with a time of 1:05.24. Surrey then headed towards the end of this lap. Do you reckon this could be the sub 60 time, Jess?
I think this can. I think this can for either of those teams as well. And don't forget the track conditions are a bit hotter than what we've seen with those 2 teams earlier on, especially with Surrey, which went early on in the day when it was a lot cooler. Surrey up to the line. A 1:03.47, just slower than their previous best.
Got 3 more seconds to gain, and they're currently on their 6th lap, so they're halfway through this run. They need to find 3 seconds over the next 7 laps. They've been told to slow down and stop. There's a yellow flag out, That's really not going to happen. That's going to get past 60 damage.
Oh, there we go.
Through, and there's cones flying left, right, and centre because, of course, there is because it's Staffordshire, and they are flying towards a yellow flag section. Surrey have been allowed to continue now, but I'm not quite sure why there's a yellow flag. There's a cone caught there by Surrey on the exit of the slalom, but I have to wonder now. Then, where is Lancashire, Jess?
I do not see them. I would see the other screen, but it's gone.
There's Lancashire. Lancashire
Yes.
lapping again. I wonder whether they came to a stop and got back going once more. Staffordshire then out on track alongside Lancashire, you can see there. And of course Surrey. Surrey desperate for that sub 60 time. 3 seconds separate them from their goal here. Meanwhile, Staffordshire, exuberant to say the least, as Surrey come across the line. Plenty of cones gone. I think a gust of wind helped along the way. And that is a time of 1:12.41. It was never going to be great with that yellow flag as Lancashire crossed the line with their time of a 1:44.95. And here comes Staffordshire to set their first time. It won't be representative, there will be that yellow cone, but regardless, the team cheering. And that is a time of 1:07.02. That's very fast for a time with a yellow cone, Jess.
Well, they've been fast overall this weekend. They've been, of course, even after that suspension problem yesterday with the cone, they're doing a really remarkable job. I wonder, has that driver competed before? It looks like they did. They just want to be out there again.
Surrey into the far section of the course, onto that second slalom, and into the Welsh wiggle before the Mansell meander as Lancashire come past and Staffordshire follow them along the way. All very evenly paced laps, their best 1:03, 1:05 and 1:07 respectively for Surrey, Lancashire and Staffordshire. Across the line go Surrey. I feel like I should be pronouncing it Surrey. 4.17, not quite there to their sub 60, but proving that when that car does go, it can go. Away goes Lancashire. That was a time of 1:05.16. It is their fastest. Staffordshire to the line now, Jess, and it's a 1 minute. Drum roll B, 05.16. Staffordshire cheering on the Cops corner.
And Staffordshire having a lot of fun in the process as well. Meanwhile, we're seeing the University of Surrey going a lot faster through this section than we've seen all weekend long. They've only got about, how many laps to go? We've got 6 laps to go until they complete this wacky race. And a reminder, this doesn't count for points. It's just an achievement to get them through in the first place. Through into this next section and through to the Mansell section very, very shortly for the University of Surrey. There's plenty of teams that haven't got through scrutineering, so it's a lot better for them. And Surrey goes up to the line. Their lap time is Surrey at 1:03.14, their best lap today.
Leaving it all out on the corner with no name on the exit from the circuit and onto the start line. Surrey seem to have picked up the pace and picked up some cones as well, but you know full well they are really trying, as are Staffordshire. Send it round the last corner, and here are Surrey on the return road now, pushing their car as fast as they possibly can. Cones gone again, I suspect, and in through the chicanes to test the car's handling capability. We know this car can perform when it wants to perform. The PUD issue set them back significantly in endurance, and yet it was such a simple problem to have. Lancashire lapping as well, their latest of 1:03.84, their fastest as well. The fastest and latest from Staffordshire, 1:04.72. This is great fun, Jess.
I'm enjoying this. It's a great way to end Formula Student 2026. Yes, we've got the awards ceremony tonight. Yes, we've got the World Cup later, but this is even more exciting. Just drivers having fun. Of course, they've done mostly, well, apart from everyone completed endurance. They've got no expectations at this point. They want to show the amount of progress that these teams have done over the last 12 months. They've got to do it all over again in the next 12 months, but this is just showing off what great their cars are. All 3 cars have been incredible, and Staffordshire just came up to the line with a 1:01.58, their best lap.
That's the fastest lap we've seen in wacky races then. Surrey will want to contend with that. I think, meanwhile, Lancashire are quite happy with their 1:03.84. There you are on their screens, looking very, very good. As they come, it's a planted car. It sits firmly on the tarmac. It doesn't roll up or dive down. It just sits firmly like a pancake on the tarmac. And I mean that as a compliment. I know it doesn't sound like one calling something a pancake, but no, that's exactly what you want it to do. It just grips. It means they can really push it. Can Lancashire? Meanwhile, talking of pushing it, Surrey coming to the end of this lap. They lost several seconds in this moment of the course here, and they've had to stop. And oh dear, oh no, because that's not an overtaking bay. They've just come to a halt on the entrance to the Mansell Meander.
And that is a big
They'll have to go around the same point in the course. And there's a wheel spin off the line there as Lancashire get back going again. But I know for a fact that Surrey, the driver behind the wheel there, will not be happy with that. Back underway, but all drivers will be held up by that stoppage for Surrey, cheering from Staffordshire. I suspect Surrey cheering on the other side of Cox Corner. But yes, unfortunately, all of those times inhibited by that stoppage from Surrey, but all now underway now. But bear in mind, I've got a funny feeling Lancashire might be lapping at a rather similar pace to Surrey, and Surrey may need to put us on overtaking bed, which is what they're not going to want because they need a clean lap.
Both drivers have done a 103 as well.
Yes, indeed. Only 7/10 of a second between the fastest times from Surrey and Lancashire. And Staffordshire is on the prowl and coming past them surely very, very soon. On the approach, Staffordshire is just going to have to wait for the overtaking bay. I suspect they'll be held in the overtaking bay, Will, Surrey and Lancashire. And into the overtaking bay goes Surrey but not Lancashire. That's going to be very frustrating for Surrey, but at least they've got clear tarmac ahead of them now. They're not going to be flags, but talking of holding people up, Lancashire lapping slower than Staffordshire, and Staffordshire will want to put the power down and get that sub 60 time.
And speaking of that, they have got a sub 60 time.
Wow.
59.74.
59.74. Excellent stuff there for Staffordshire. Just got to wait then for Lancashire to get out of the way, and they can really put the hammer down. In fact, they have got out of the way, and they're collecting the cones, and it's wedged on the wing element, on the front wing element. They've done a Cardiff, they've done an Aaron Farmer, and that is Staffordshire having collected a cone. I think they did this yesterday, Jess. They took an entire
that's what failed their suspension, and they had to fix it.
And there we are then, Staffordshire having collected a cone at least around the course, and that will allow Surrey and of course Lancashire to catch up. Plenty of cones being damaged over the course of this weekend.
Well, to be fair though, they don't have any more races after this.
1 minute almost dead from Staffordshire, twitching there on the exit of turn 2 and into the bus stop. Surrey's best time of 1:00.30, so they are so close to that, breaking that 60-second mark. But this is their last lap for Surrey. They've got to get it out now if they want to break the 60-second barrier. Their fastest of 1:00.30, and Central Lancashire's latest time of 1:04.08. Come on, Surrey, but they're held up by Lancashire. I wonder whether they could go even faster with Lancashire not in front of them, and that's a real heartache for them. This will be their last lap. And surely Lancashire are going to get out of the way. They do indeed, and Surrey put the hammer down, but is it too little, too late for the team to get below that 60-second mark?
It does look like it, doesn't it? But University of Surrey, they're going to be finishing what's been a high and low weekend for a roller coaster, but they finished a wacky races here from the student 2026 for Surrey.
And they're into the pits. And did they do it? Did they do it? No, they didn't. They didn't do it. It was a 1:02. Their fastest of 1:00.30. So close. 3/10 of a second.
Lancashire had 3 more laps.
I don't know whether they can hear us, but if I could hear them, if they can hear us, please just give them an extra few laps. Go on. Go on. More. Meanwhile, Staffordshire have just decided to rearrange the course. They've shedded that cone on the front left wing and then smattered several yellow cones out of the way. Meanwhile, Lancashire are back underway. They've been sent back out for what will be...
I think they only realised they had a few more laps to do.
Yes, I do. I think they came in because the checkered flag was out for Surrey, and as a result, they had to. They thought they had to Meanwhile, that's very nice there from Staffordshire, 59.60, and we know that they can go even faster. Their fastest was a 57.58, and they've got clear tarmac now. So what can they do? a quick shot of Cheryl there. Give us a wave, Cheryl.
Oh, why would you?
You're on camera. Give us a wave.
Why would you
There we
do
go.
that to me?
You've got to take that up with Hivers. I didn't choose the shots there, but the gallery certainly liked it. Meanwhile, coming through the high-speed section of the course is Staffordshire into this incredibly harsh chicane before flying on to the not quite straight. Following that will be the second slalom, only 2 cones, but it is there to unsettle the drivers. It does sneak up on you rather before the Welsh wiggle and into the Bales hairpin. Here they come then. Sort of, they go for the tight runs. What David did earlier, it's a tight line through the Bales hairpin, excellently handled through the Mansell meander. And here comes the line, crowd cheering on. 1-3, 6/10 of a second slower than their fastest jets.
I think the good thing about Staffordshire, they've been consistent all weekend, haven't they?
Yeah, they really have. They absolutely have. One of the best British teams that we've seen this week. In fact, possibly, depending on how things go tonight in the awards, you're looking at the best British team here at Formula Student at Silverstone.
In the EFS class, that is.
Absolutely, the EFS class. Big up to the guys in the gallery. Give us a wave in the gallery. Love you guys. Hi, Viz. Thank you very much to you. All the thank yous coming up later on. We'll leave that to Cheryl and Monty. Incredibly thorough as a dynamic duo, so thank you very much to them. Meanwhile, Staffordshire, can they get faster than the 57.58? Lancashire are also on track for the last couple of laps. They're on their 11th lap, so across the line with 2 more to go. Their 11th lap is going to be a time of 101.68, their fastest. Surrey are completed, their fastest of 100.30. Staffordshire, they're on to their 11th lap now. They'll take the 1.75. Not quite their fastest, they're still looking for that 57.58, Jess.
They're looking for glory at this point. They're looking to. I think on the next few laps we're going to try and see their fastest lap from Staffordshire. I can feel it.
I don't know if I wish we could see Modena and Edith Cowan really rag it. I mean, we saw them fairly ragging it yesterday in sprint,
Yeah, so we're
but
doing it
equally
here.
it would have been marvellous to see them out in wacky races when they've got nothing to lose.
These are the last 2 laps. You're closing off again.
Yeah, I thought that was what we were.
I think we can see Lancashire going faster than what we saw in endurance.
Absolutely spectacular there for Lancashire. They could be on for their fastest time ever here at Formula Student 2026 in the final throws of wacky races. This will be their penultimate lap as they cross the line with a time of, drum roll please,
Hey, 1 minute.
101.00. As squealing through the final corner comes Staffordshire, 58.46. Still not quite fast, that's 57.58. Not long to go though before the end of wacky races. We're into the final throws. And can Staffordshire beat their personal best? Can Lancashire beat their personal best? We're about to find out. The final lap for Lancashire is underway. Their
But they were meant to
fastest.
finish, they had to check the flag and everything.
1 minute, 1 second dead for Lancashire. Their fastest. Not a million miles away from completion as they come past us in the commentary box through the second slalom, onto the Welsh wiggle before the Bales hairpin. In they go. And very tight line, but Staffordshire have stopped because they've caught a lot of cones, but into the final corners go Staffordshire, not Staffordshire, Lancashire. Lancashire crossed the line, and it's a time of 102.06. Their fastest time stands at 1 minute 0.03. Very nicely done for Lancashire. Staffordshire inhibited significantly on their penultimate lap by collecting a lot of cones. And this is going to go into their final lap. Jess, can they beat that 57.58?
No, they can't because they just finished.
Oh, they have finished. They have finished. And they finished spectacularly. There's a cone wedged under their left wing, and that would be the way that Staffordshire finish it, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I think Staffordshire always end the Formula Student 2026 in style. They've been a very strong team throughout, and it's a team that I enjoy commentating on in the commentary box as well. They're going to be very, very happy with that. And that is it then. Dynamic events all done.
Yes, the dynamic events are done indeed. So thank you very much for joining us here at Silverstone for Formula Student 2026. I've been Giles Cosgrove and she's been Jess Ball, your commentators throughout the weekend. Thank you very much for your company. I'm going to hand you over to Cheryl, Monty and Dan Jones to close out proceedings, but from the pair of us, thank you very much indeed.
It's been a weekend. It's been a crazy one. Many ups and downs for the teams. How have you found it, Monty?
I have found it as exhilarating as always. It's always unpredictable. I would say that was a very, very brutal endurance today. Commiserations to everyone who didn't finish, but it just shows how unpredictable Formula Student can be. But they never rest, do they?
No, they do not. They will take this as a learning opportunity and they will come back next year even stronger.
Absolutely. Dan, I'm going to hand this over to you as Chief Judge. What do you make of this weekend?
Great to see some more running cars on track. We've still got a way to go to get the percentages up, but the people do the cars on site versus running, but headed in the right direction. Now I say it every year, it sounds cheesy as hell, but everyone who got to Formula Student, whether you got through scrutineering, whether you got on track, you're here, you've got those valuable lessons for life that you're going to be with you forever. So you're all winners in a way. There's going to be one winner in each of the category, but yeah, Formula Student, the camaraderie and everything I've seen over the course of the weekend. The spirit of Formula Student is there still strong. So well done to all the teams, and yeah, best of luck for the future.
And don't forget to read the rules.
Always read the rules. So that's the end of the dynamics. We're going to go and tot off the points. We have an awards ceremony to do this evening, don't we, Sharon?
Yes, we do. So you'll be seeing our three faces again up on stage. So don't miss it.
Absolutely not. We're going to find out tonight who we are crowning the Formula Student.
We're clear.
Bye, Mum. Full on shake of disapproval.
I don't know how
there.
this works, so here you go.
Do you mind?
Full on shake of disapproval. Well done.
Live, you absolute mug.
When did we get those Murray Walker's like microphones?
I know, they're great, aren't they?
Yeah. We just need the tash to go.
How the hell did this happen?
Yes.
I'll work
I
on
thought you
mine.
were going to do what Birmingham City did and blow up.
Yeah.
Shall we